Thank you, gentlemen. This is rumor control. Here are the facts.
Sorry we're late. This is going to be a real... We got to cross our T's and dot our I's for this fucking one. I'm going to make Todd Lee jealous of my stream today, I think. Yes. That's our new splash screen has a lot to do with the new look. I should get my glasses out. Live from Las Vegas, this is the Irrational Male. Anybody watch any good debates lately? Oh, not me. All we did was drag Charlie Kirk's corpse out of the ground and throw him a bone. All right, kick that. Here we go. Oops, wait, there you go. Put that in.
How much?
200.
Okay, define 200.
What?
No, you made a claim. I'm asking you to substantiate the underlying premise.
Are you buying or not?
That's not an answer. You're dodging the question! You lick sniz!
Who did this? Who made that? The power. Somebody on Rumble made that one. Somebody on Rumble had to have made that one.
Husband gets another woman pregnant, you could divorce him, or you could step up and raise the child as your own like a real woman. Also, if your husband's cheating on you, why are you walking around holding a grudge with a bad attitude? Isn't acting like that what got you cheated on in the first place? Fellas, if you do cheat on your wife, you should do the right thing and tell her that you're willing to forgive her if she goes to therapy to figure out what she did wrong that forced you to cheat on her. Or if your wife's really serious about changing her ways, she could reach out to your side bitch and find out what your side bitch has been doing right. For instance, your wife could ask your side bitch what exercises she does to stay attractive, or what mental health medication she can take to improve her attitude and make her fun again. I think the biggest takeaway, though, is that if you have cheated, fellas, it's not your fault. Think about it. Your wife claims that when she turns down sex, she's the real victim because she feels guilty. But then when you protect your wife by going out and cheating on her so that she doesn't have to turn you down anymore and feel guilty, she still gets angry. Cheating just proves that no matter what you do for your wife, it's never good enough.
Flex on your ungrateful wife with Alan Adams comedy merch.
Hello there, children. How's it going?
Woman looks at a man who annihilated his entire family and is like, oh, he's the one. Because if you haven't heard, Chris Watts is getting married. That's right, that Chris Watts. Chris Watts, who 8 years ago on August 13th ended his entire family, his pregnant wife, their unborn child, and both of their daughters, who were ages 4 and 3 years old.
And buried them under a water tower.
Now it looks like
Oil tower, something like that. Tower. I know he was very creative in how he got rid of the
he's marrying this woman, 39-year-old realtor from Cleveland, Lizzie Henderson, who is now going by...
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what is it called when they call themselves a realtor or a real estate agent? That is code for escort.
Lizzie Watts. This woman has visited Chris Watts 23 times in the last 15 months, moving from Ohio to Wisconsin so that she could be closer to the correctional facility he is spending the rest of his life in. They have now decided to take their relationship one step farther and get married. So exactly what kind of person looks at a man who has killed everyone that loved him, his children, his wife, is like, that's who I want to marry. The fact that this news is breaking as the 8-year anniversary comes up of this man completely ending his family at his own hands and is now trying to start a new one.
Well, we can break it down to one quote. Not all women are hybristophiles, but only women are hybristophiles.
6 feet, 6 figures. That is the bare minimum. Like, they're being reasonable. And if you take out married men, obese men, men over the age of 50, it's like 8% of the population.
There is an evolutionary or historical reason why women have these preferences somewhat ingrained in them. Yes, your partner who is taller than you can physically protect you. He probably is going to be a more successful provider, but those are not really metrics that are going to point to relationship or marital success long term. There are surely plenty of men out there who meet these 3 6s who are still jerks, who are not going to necessarily be husband material. It's no different from men having their standards.
But why? Just because they're 6 foot tall, successful, 6'5", blue eyes, trust fund, finance, whatever the hell the rest of the song is about. They all got to be assholes. You know why they have to be assholes? Because they have the potential to bang a lot of chicks.
In terms of men tend to,
including her,
want to date women who are younger and who are attractive and who are symmetrical, because these are all indicators of fertility and reproductive health. I think,
gosh, she would make a great red pill podcaster. What a great manosphere influencer Dr. Deborah So has become.
should be allowed to want what they want. It's gone to the point where it's so unrealistic now. Women are doing better in terms of education and occupation. So there is a smaller pool of viable, successful men.
What? You're sounding like... That's like Mike Sartain talk.
And for these women to choose from, all women are basically fighting over the same small pool of men, because men don't tend to care as much about a woman's success. It doesn't matter how successful a woman is. She's going to be fighting after the same pool of men. And then the vast majority of men who are not as successful have basically been shut out of the dating market.
Wow, where have I heard that before, Kyle? Where have we? This is odd. I'm getting deja vu.
So now they're going down
Matrix is resetting itself.
the route of these other replacements like the chatbots.
Chatbots. I can hardly wait. God, somebody please, I don't know. It can't be me because she's blocked the hell out of me, but somebody ask her, give her the sex robot question. Yeah. God, that would be awesome. And she is she's got that dirty librarian thing going on too.
26, and I'm looking to get engaged here soon. But
okay, build up. This guy is 26 years old, and listen to how much this guy makes.
My girlfriend and I, we have very different net worths, and I was curious what or how you would look at setting up a prenup.
What does very different net worth mean?
I was very blessed. My grandparents did very well. I have a $550,000 paid for house, about $50,000 in a truck. I also have about $135 between my 401k and my various accounts. I also have $350K left over in a college fund. She is currently in PA school, and she will be coming out of school with about $120,000 to $150,000 in debt. What do you make? I make about $100. Well, I'm in sales, so $120,000 to $150,000 a year.
Okay.
She will be making about.
If I were in your shoes, I would get so comfortable with this lady in order to marry her that I don't need a prenup. You don't have enough net worth to fool with it.
Oh man, where is Spencer when I need him? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a little bit sketchy on what Sexton would even say about this, but that's Dave Ramsey's advice for everything. Just it's okay, the Lord will take care of you.
And I'm looking to get engaged here soon, but my girlfriend and I, we have. She will be making about.
If I were in your shoes, I would get so comfortable with this lady in order to marry her that I don't need a prenup. You don't have enough net worth to fool with it.
Somebody needs to tell this guy that he already has a prenup. It's just with the state right now. Everyone has a prenup. It's either with the state or it's the one you managed before you went and got married.
Circumstance ever, should a man ever let a woman pay for a date? Woman should have an expectation that you as a woman are so important and so critical and so necessary and beautiful that it shouldn't even be a question. Even better, go to the waiter before the meal and you.
Okay, the broad with the titties up in the top there, that's the girl that went after Justin Waller not too long ago.
Just give them the credit card. It's not even a conversation. It's paid for. It's done.
But they should offer. They should pull out the credit card.
The woman? Of course not.
Just to offer.
No. I would go into debt and scrub dishes before a woman paid.
I would love to hear some woman's perspective in the comments.
Honestly, Lord, send me a man like that.
that thinks I am just so divine. I do not have to pay for anything.
That's funny. Justin Waller want to open the door for your precious little hiney.
And I am just so beautiful and the best thing walking this earth that's already paid for, brother.
Which were pretty much the comments of Justin Waller.
But, okay, being serious, my honest opinion, when I think of a relationship, I think of two. It takes two to make a relationship, no? So, I mean, if he's got it like that and he can like pay for everything, more power to him, and that's what he wants to do. Could I allow that throughout the entire relationship? No. I mean, it's just me. It's just how I feel personally. I feel like I'm not contributing to the relationship or anything, especially if I'm working and making money too.
I could think of a way you could contribute. I could think of, well, two ways you can contribute right now.
Inspire a lazy man to level up. Oh, why are you even with him?
They should come leveled up. What do you mean you need to level up? Do better. Just come to me leveled up.
But how many times do we see incredible businesswomen, successful women with just absolute losers?
I think people don't set out going, I'm going to date a loser. Like they probably see something in them.
The potential.
Yes, shut up. I know it's AI.
The potential.
The biggest downfall of every woman, seeing the potential in a man.
And then you level him up and
then he leaves you.
And he's off to find someone because you're no longer leveled up to him now.
He would probably have resentment because you'd be like a mirror for him. You saw him at his very low levels, right? And you're reminding him of the loser that he was. Then you've invested and spent time in bringing this person up, and all of a sudden they look at you and they're like, well, you remind me of the loser that I was. I need a new woman.
So let me get this straight. You got the loser, you leveled him up yourself for some other chick, right? And now you're pissed off because you think that you're the one that was responsible for his success. Got it? Oh, okay. Sounds pretty good. Well, this is why nobody wants to fucking get on board with that.
Than it was at 25. I'm being that guy right now, but I'm just going to walk you through like how it actually feels in my head. For me, when I was younger, I was very interested in a relationship. I didn't realize this at the time, but part of the reason I was very interested in a relationship was because dating at 24 in New York City is so gruesome for a guy. It's gruesome. You are bottom of the totem pole. You're competing with 30-year-old finance bros and tech bros and fill in the blank bros. You just get treated like shit. And so I think because of that, you have this feeling that like, oh, if I could just find one good girl, I'd just stick with her to get out of this bullshit. But at 30, dating is so easy as a guy. Being a 30-year-old guy is like being a 22-year-old girl in New York City.
I have a rule. I am very, very slow to trust any guy who didn't have any luck with women in his 20s. In his exact words, bottom of the totem pole and treated like shit by women. And now what happens is these guys want to be players in their 30s. I'm very, very slow to trust these guys because no early success with women usually leaves a lifelong cult complex.
Why do you need to trust them in the first place? Like why? Like
I'm supposed to have this inherent trust for them?
Are you looking to this guy for advice? I don't think this guy's advice. I think he's just telling you where he's at, bro.
That seeps into every single interaction. They bring this kind of resentment of not feeling chosen and noticed by women into a chapter of their lives where they.
Or it could be that they've been hammered flat for the last, 5, 6, 10 years. And now they're like, I kind of understand how there's one set of rules that I used to think people were playing by, and now I'm realizing there's not. And now there's a whole different rule set, but you want to tell me that if I don't play by the old rule set, I should be ashamed of myself.
Have the position of choosing, the position of optionality. And you can tell there's resentment because when you ask them about their 20s, they're always blaming somebody. They're blaming society, they're blaming women, they're blaming.
Here's the thing that gets me. Now, I'm just going to throw this. I saved this one. Well, actually, I got one more after this, which is just funny. But I saved this one for the end because it's like I am so fucking sick of people thinking that if you make an observation of something, if you describe something, if you are in any way trying to make some sort of just measured take on how things are. Like, remember, I did this on purpose. I played the other one before about guys leveling up and he needs to be a turnkey. And then you got Dave Ramsey before that. You got all this other stuff. So I'm supposed to ignore all of that. But if I make an objective observation of it and I happen to make a 30-second TikTok video about it, I'm complaining. It must be a lifetime of, how do you get a lifetime of fucking resentment from a 45-second TikTok clip, bro? I realize it's content for y'all, but like,
Come on. The tech bros, they're blaming the guys with money. They're blaming the guys that are taller than them. I also lived in New York in my early 20s.
No, those guys that he's here blame. So you hear that? Blame. Blame, complain, whine, cope. Bro, like, listen, that's chick language. That's therapy speak is what that is. So you're a therapist. You know this for sure. You had this guy on the fainting couch and you asked him to tell his life story in a 45-second TikTok video. Bro, I don't know why I will be listening to you, quite honestly.
I had a love life. So what is difficult for you isn't difficult for everybody else. But the thing about maturing in your 20s is that...
Well, statistically it is, because you're looking at a society, or let's say a generation of young men who ain't getting no pussy.
As you upgrade, as you level up, you get more money, you get more status, yes. But if the underlying operating system is built on years of rejection and not feeling noticed by women, the amplification just makes those insecurities louder and even more expensive.
Or maybe it's a rational understanding of what's occurred in this guy's life where he's making a general assessment about this. And guess what? Maybe the dude is getting into his 30s right now, and now he has some sexual selection. Do we have something?
No, it's just beeping. I was like, let me just throw this up here real quick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's why these late bloomers in their 30s need to realize that this is not a flex. Ideally, as a man, you should be growing out of your fuckboy tendencies in your 30s. And
why? Because here's the thing: is like as Kyle so astutely noted a moment ago, the thing is guys don't come into their peak potential until they get to be about their early 30s, maybe mid 30s. And so what happened? Yeah, there you go. Thank you for that. The peak potential years, right there, right? And guess what? That's when guys have their peak potential. Their peak potential years is when they have the most sexual selectivity, and you're telling them that it's time to grow up and settle down and just. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's a very good article on Substack by my good friend Archwinger that I'm going to probably read every word of today, because it speaks directly to this stupid, ignorant take.
Becoming quite obsessed and inspired by the vision of fatherhood and building a life with a good woman.
Why? To fulfill so it affirms your beliefs? That sounds like somebody who is proselytizing. That sounds like somebody who is insisting that everyone think the same way he does.
Not being driven by erotic novelty, the illusion of optionality, and the allure of hedonism.
Bro, I hope she sees this.
No. But if you don't see through this in your 30s, when you enter your 40s, you will be copy and pasting Leonardo DiCaprio's whole playbook.
That sounds pretty fucking awesome to me.
25, 22, 24,
yes,
25, 23, 25, 24.
This isn't the win you think it is.
We should begin to normalize not normalizing this. A little bit of shame is healthy for the male ego, especially when it's driven to redeem its 22-year-old self.
Dude, you are a bitch. That is bitch language right there. Oh, and last but not least, my chubby little torta.
Sir, I mean someone who doesn't respect women, someone who doesn't respect you, someone who doesn't treat you well, someone that doesn't support your growth as a human being.
Wait, there we go. Now, lay it on him. Shit. Lay it on him, Kyle. Lay it on him. Boom. We're going to do the whole damn show. Sans Beanie today. You wanted it. You got it. I need my sunglasses though, man. I should probably go full. I need a cigar, and God, that'd be great. I'm going to go full. My sunglasses are in there somewhere. Yeah, full Rogel Dorn. I need this. Give me the cigar. I need the cigar. Wait, the lighting in here has me going full John Deloney today. So here's the Deloney. Here's the Deloney look. Okay, here we go. Thank you. Give me those. All right. And no, just give me a cigar. This guy, I know this is the Red One Studios, which is where Moon Gang goes live, and there must be some kind of. I'm not going to light it. Just give me the thing. We need to have that. This is the cheap one. All right, here we go. Wait, hold on. Let's do this. Hold on, let's put this up here. There we go. All right. Man, I need the gold armor. I need the gold power, or the Primark power armor is what I need.
We got the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, give me the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah, we need the Infinity Gauntlet. There we go. God damn it. Oh, good. Oh, thank God it's the right hand. I got it. Oh, here we go. All right. You want your picture? Here's your shot right here. Well, yeah, there we go. This is as close to a power fist as we have in the studio. There you go. Oh, watch where that goes.
The magnets.
That's right there. I have magnets I could glue on that. Of course I do. All right, these are fucking badass glasses. Can't see shit in them, but all right. Enough fucking around. we got serious business to do today.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm John Deloney. Yes. My wife just slept with another man and is pregnant by him. I don't know what to do. Should I take her back and marry her and keep her, renew our vows? I fell in love with a baby mom with a single mom, and she's got 3 kids with 2 baby daddies. Should I marry her? Full John Deloney today, man. There you go. Yeah, okay. You win. Oh, that's so funny. Yes. Changing who you are for that. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much pretty much defines the whole John. And by the way, I did not know this. John Deloney is like part of the Dave Ramsey network. He's like he's on board with, I think he works for him, or that's whatever their network is. Yeah, I had no idea there was a thing there, but welcome. Hi, how you doing? So today we're going to talk about the Lindsay Clancy case. People wanted me to talk about this. I don't know why, but I started digging into it, and I was looking at the details. I got a lot to actually. I kind of understand why now, but I didn't get it. Kyle knows a little bit more about it than I do, at least from different angles. So Kyle's going to help me out a little bit here. But we're going to talk about that today. I kind of want to get into prenups today too, for a little bit. God, I hate to do this so early in the game, but let me see if I can find this. Let's see. Did I put it on here? Maybe I don't have it on there. Anyways, I'll dig it. I have it in my Instagram. No, wait, hold on. It's maybe it's in the podcast stuff here. No, not that one. So the reason I'm looking for this is because there is Sexton, Jim Sexton of all people too. Sexton was on this one show, and I feel like I gotta. Damn it! Do I have it in here? Maybe I have it in here. No, I don't have it in here. There's a reel that's on Instagram right now, and I want to say it's where'd it go? I have to find this thing. I thought I had it up. Anyways, I'll dig it up for you here. So Sexton has been making the rounds, and not to throw Jim under the bus again, but again, he's a good friend of mine, and maybe he'll return my calls or actually return a text after I talk about this one thing that kind of bugged me. Because Sexton, as you know, has decided that he's going to he canceled his channel. He killed his channel, and he had his final send-off episode. I want to say it was a few months ago. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to play it live. I'm not going to download it. I'm just going to. Actually, wait. I will. I'll download it real quick. I think it'll probably come back up. Then I can put it up on here. Because you guys got to see this. So I have a theory, and it's important for you guys to see this one video so that you can understand what my theory is here. And let's just put it on there. Okay. And I don't know who the chick is that he's talking to in this one video, but I hope you guys will forgive me if you end up getting a little vomit in your mouth after this. Okay, there it is. Got it. Sorry, I'm
downloading it because I wanted to host it from my system. But here you go. This is it right here.
Adult man who's not in the dating marketplace. And when I walk past a beautiful young woman like you, walks past me, and the scent of a little bit of her perfume, it is just lovely.
Okay. Kyle, have you ever seen, I think, is it Robert De Niro? Yeah, Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro?
Scent of a Woman?
Yes.
This is like almost verbatim of the fucking script from Scent of a Woman. It wasn't that good of a movie, Jim.
Lovely in the way that looking at a beautiful flower or a painting, like I don't need to take the painting home. I can just appreciate it. Like I don't need to pluck the flower. I wouldn't want to pluck the flower, but I can admire it. I can just, there's something about being around like a beautiful woman or a charming man. Like you're telling me that there's not something lovely about being around a charming man who's a...
Dude, this is Scent of a Woman. This is Robert De Niro's monologue from Scent of a Woman.
Attentive and polite and chivalrous.
No, it's everything.
It's wonderful. And by the way, it's wonderful to be that man. I love opening a door for a woman, young, old, whoever, and having her, thank you so much. Of course, please. Like, I love, one of my favorite moments of the day is when I'm on the subway and a woman gets on and I stand up and go, would you like to sit? And she goes, oh, thank you. And she sits there. I love it.
By the way, it's such a nice song and dance.
It's a beautiful
and a great movie on top of that too.
Dance. We're both, by the way, she feels amazing that she just was honored in that way. Like, oh, please, you said. And I feel
another way to make her feel amazing.
Amazing that I'm like, oh, yes, of course. I'm going to stand because I'm the man and I'm going to stand and you should sit. I don't have to sleep with her. She doesn't have to sleep with me. I'm not interpreting that signal as anything other than we're just doing this thing together.
I'm not trying to fuck.
Like, and what a lovely thing it is to get to do.
And I think so many people have been taken away from that little song and dance, which is actually so energizing. Look, I'm a working woman with a good job. I still like being the recipient of that kind of attention, chivalry, whatever. And also, I don't know, I just feel like we've been discouraged from doing that. How damaging, by the way, do you think the Me Too movement was in this
I think both sides, Me Too and like the extreme ends of the manosphere, I think have been
which would be who?
Very damaging because they put everybody on their guard in ways that really make that lovely dance and lovely game I just described like something everyone's uncomfortable doing. And by the way, I understand.
Well, they're just basically questioning if like what's in it for them, right? That's really what it comes down to. I get where he's going with this. I don't have to play the rest of this, but I thought it was funny because like that is like straight out of it's Al Pacino. Yeah. It's straight out of Scent of a Woman. I hope she sees this, bro. Is that it? 1992, Scent of a Woman. Oh yeah, was that a legal thing? Yeah, it was. He was a lawyer, right? Was he blind? Yeah, he's blind.
Retired lieutenant colonel.
He was like Daredevil.
Yeah.
Matt Murdock. It's Matt Murdock. I can smell you. Really? All of me? Yes, I can. Yeah. Well, so now moving on to Rolo's theory about all of this stuff. So Jim recently decided to kill his channel. I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? He had a successful channel. It was actually doing pretty good numbers. And he was doing pretty short form video. He was doing like 30. And then he went and said, oh, well, I'm leaving because I have a real job, which he does. And, he's a working actual attorney and, divorce attorney where he's at. And then like, not even like 2 weeks after that, he's everywhere. Like he is literally everywhere. Like he was on Tom Bulu's wife's channel, the whack job chick. Mm-hmm. And God knows wherever else. Like this, I have no idea who this person is, but like maybe they're an A-lister or something like that. He was on CNN. He was on and I'm like, what the fuck happened, right? And so I thought about it, and I go, so 2 weeks after he kills his channel, he's like everywhere. Mm-hmm. And then I follow him on Twitter, and then all of his Twitter, the language, it's not. Well, first of all, he's way more active on Twitter, and the language changed. It's all in the third person. This divorce attorney said this, right? I'm like, So clearly he has farmed out the tweets to a third party, right? Because they refer to him in the third party. Dude, it's your Twitter account. Why are you not talking in the first person, right? So here's my theory. Here's my theory. Okay. And Jim, again, I mean, no flame. I'm just pointing out what I think is the obvious here. I think he's signed on with a casting agency.
That would make sense.
I think it's because
they take over social media.
Peterson did the same thing. Yeah. I know Matt Walsh and some of these other guys. I mean, well, Matt Walsh is still part of Daily Wire, but like before Jordan Peterson got licensed to Daily Wire, he was on with CC something casting, triple C casting or some shit like that. And I remember the reason I still recall this is because I remember the day it happened and people found out that he's basically stopped doing his private practice and he got on with the casting thing so that he could go and essentially go around the world and do all this, no disrespect. I mean, he obviously made a lot of money doing it, but the dude up and just decided to sign on. And what happens is I would presume you're friends anymore. You're not allowed to go and do certain things and associate with certain people when you do that. So I kind of understand why you're not returning my text. I kind of get it now, I think. Maybe he's got NDAs that he has to worry about, but I'm thinking he signed on with a casting agency. And that's exactly, like I said, it's exactly what Peterson did. And now he's on all these other shows and everything. Is he still a divorce attorney? The thing that gets me is like when you get to the point where you're doing this and you're making more money off of appearances than you are then you can make. He makes a lot of money off of being a divorce attorney. I don't know, man. I don't know, but it's one of those things where so that's Exhibit A. Exhibit B is this. If you guys didn't see this already, of course, I was joking around with Andrew Wilson because there was a debate. There was a debate not but a few days ago. And I thought I'd give you the breakdown for it. I did a full thing with Mike on Mike's channel. I simulcasted it on this channel. So I'm not going to go and reinvent the wheel again. If you want to take me to task on anything, you want to say, oh, Rollo's out of his depth, I'll be happy to repeat my monologue for that anytime you'd like. So we were there and we did what pretty much everybody else in YouTube land did. You don't have to be manosphere to go and have some sort of like rebuttal, some kind of breakdown, some details and stuff like that. I really think that I made a prediction beforehand. My prediction was is that it would be 60% would be of the debate, of the 3.5 hour debate would be Candace Owens filibustering for most of the time. And then 30% of it would be PBD, Patrick Bet-David, annoying everybody with personal stories and anecdotes and and trying to make the whole thing about him, which, yes, maybe it wasn't 30. It might have been like 20%, but there's a part in the middle of it where he's talking about, oh, I've known Candace for a long time. She used to come over and eat mac and cheese at my house or some shit like that. I don't know. Like they're trying to have this nostalgia, trying to humanize her a little bit. And then of course the last remaining 10% ish was Andrew making cogent arguments that they just simply had no counter to. And by the definition of what the objectives of the debate were, Andrew won. Clearly, period. End of story. Like she never once explained why she thinks that what's the kid's name, that the shooter kid? Oh my! Why he was a patsy, right? Tyler something. Not Tyler Perry. No. Tyler something.
Robinson.
Tyler Robinson. Okay, so. And of course the joke is, if you remove all the DNA, you remove all the forensic evidence, you remove all this stuff, then there's, then how if it's 0% or if it's 100%, Tyler Robinson, thank you very much for correcting my old man brain. But I wanted to point out that my interest in this had nothing to do with the case. Honest to God, I'm going to tell you the truth. All right, now on my show, I had no interest. I could give a shit about it because to me, debate is dead anyways. But I was interested in it from a marketing perspective. I was interested in how they were going to do this, and I want to say that the very fact that Candace Owens took $300,000 for this, and granted, everybody's going to say, well, Andrew is the one who gave her the $300,000. Yeah, he did, but she took the money, and she always has taken the money. So was it really in good? Was a debate really in good faith? I don't know, but according to Andrew Wilson, who, by the way, came in on our podcast, which was nice. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because he does return our texts and hasn't signed on with a casting agency as far as I know so far. But Andrew at least remembers his peeps. And so, it's funny. I just did it on a whim because I was like, he's got to be like just completely dog meat at the end of this day. Because it was like probably, we started at 7, so it had to have been 10, maybe 10:30 when he came in. And I'm sure he had been up since probably like 4 a.m. that day. Yeah. And just to have him come in, and he only took like maybe 5-10 minutes with us. But he was saying, and I think he's getting, I don't know if he said he was going to do it today on his show today, but he was going to tell everybody like all the shenanigans that led up to everything else. One of the things he said on our stream though was that at one point during the pre-show, Candace was trying to psych herself up. Mm-hmm. And she says, come on, Candace, you can get through the next 3 hours. Like she knew she was just going to do those 3 hours. She wasn't going to do anything like that. So it's $100,000 per hour.
Yeah.
And that's the paycheck. That's the payout. Right. And she clearly didn't want to be there. She was clearly phoning it in. She was filibustering quite a bit, as I expected that she would. And Andrew made some cogent points that were just simply never answered and were at least not to my satisfaction. And she never answered the accusations of Tyler Robinson being a patsy. So we never even got to that discussion whatsoever. It was, however, one of the most watched live streams of 2026. So maybe it was worth $300,000. And maybe that was the point in the first place. But Andrew didn't have to do that to gain access to Candace's sizable audience, right? Mm-hmm. And because he's not going to make any believe, he's not poaching any of her audience to come over and be part of his audience. It's not going to happen. She's got 6.8 million subs on YouTube, last count, if memory serves. And so everybody was saying, "Oh, well, he just did it because he wanted to be part of that. He wanted to get some of her juice, right?" Yeah. I'm like, Andrew Wilson doesn't really need her juice. I mean, it's great to have 6.07 million. So I was close.
Yeah, 12 million views.
12 million views. Yeah, 12 million views, 12.5 million views in the last 7 days. Actually, honestly, I think Andrew did her the favor. Not only did she walk away with $300,000, she's already earning what does that say?
Estimated $126,000.
About $127,000 per month just off of her normal channel. That's obviously going to go up after the debate. Why Patrick Bet David decided that he wanted to be a part of this is anyone's guess. Well, actually, it's not. He just simply likes attention. Patrick Bet David is not an ego. He's not egotistical. He's what's called an egoist. There's a difference between those two. He very much likes to, and I know this because I have worked for two or three, worked with and for, at least in my lifetime, I've worked for at least 2 guys who I would consider are full-on egoists. These are guys who you can compliment them and flatter them, and they'll never think you're buttering them up. They love it. Give me more.
Yeah, right? They eat it up.
They eat it up. Yeah, that's the egoist, right? Yes, Steve Sharabura, I am not wearing a beanie today. Is it not obvious? Steve Sharabura, who's decided to grace us with my texts right now. Yes, Steve, they show up on my screen every now and then. Steve is I think he's still in the hospital right now. Steve had a backhoe fall on top of him, but he's tough as nails, so he's back. But he was in the hospital for quite some time. Oh, and then also, you might notice that in the chat, you're probably not going to see Sam Botta today because we have a little bit of a chat. Well, they knew it was coming, but Sam's brother passed away from cancer last night, I think, or today. But shout out to Sam Botta. He's the guy who has read my books, my first 3 books. So there you go. Shout out to him, just sympathies and RIP, man. So, yeah. Yes, I know. Yeah, I look like a Bond villain. Thank you. No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die. All right. But so anyways, that's my take on that's my brief take on the Candace Owens Andrew Wilson debacle. Now here's my personal opinion about the whole thing. Not that you asked for it, but I'm going to give it to you anyways, because people kept saying, well, Rollo's out of his depth. He shouldn't be talking about this. So who should be? Andrew from Legal Mindset, maybe he should be talking about it. Let's see, who else should, like, or are we going to wait around for like I don't know, certified, credentialed experts? Like, this is social media. This is YouTube. You're going to be waiting a very long time for that, because most people could give two flying fucks about this. But I mean, but the people who do, I suggested this. I said that, I think I told you this too. It's like when I first heard that they were going to do this, I'm like, why not do it in Vegas?
Yeah.
You could do it at the UFC fighting arena that's just over here in Summerlin. Right. And then you could, Dana White, Mike knows Dana White. I've met him a couple times, but like we could get Dana White on board, and then you could have this whole word war debate thing. If that would have got, you wouldn't. $300,000. Imagine what you could buy at the UFC arena for $300,000. Well, you got to think way bigger than that, man. Those are rookie numbers. And then you could. I started back and forth with the owner of Spearmint Rhino when we were at Babes in Toilet. I'm like, we can have the after party at Spearmint Rhino. You guys aren't thinking enough. You got to go huge, man. You got PBD. That's nothing, man. Come out, get Dana White involved. Oh my God, we could do it. Rollo has amazing traps. He must be juicing. You know what's funny? When I was on, God, well, thank you for noticing my traps. No homo. But no, it's funny is we were in this room. Actually, it was on one of the shows when we were having Access Vegas here. And we were talking about, it might have been on the show that we had Alvaro on, like Alvaro Pena. Like,
I think I was there for that. I think I was there for that show.
No, like women were talking about what their favorite body parts on a guy was. Of course, his arms and And then they're like, but okay, so what would be your least favorite? And then they said traps. I'm like, what the fuck? Really? Traps? They go, yeah, because two big traps on a guy looks intimidating. like the Hulk, right?
I'm going to be honest, man. Traps are they help build out that frame, that overall frame that you have, man.
Well, because I did shoulders just yesterday. Back.
I did back day yesterday.
So when you do, I can't do it in this shirt, but like when you do one of these kind of things, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got the big old. My wife loves traps, man. She's one of her favorite. That's her favorite. But get them bowling ball delts going and stuff that. And then because women like the V taper, right? So that's like Mike Sartain, very wisely, very astutely for Men of Action. Like if you're working out, he says you want to do like upper body because you want to get that. You want to get the wedge going first, right?
Shoulder to waist,
Yeah. So, okay. So anyways, the Candace Owens thing, my whole shtick on this is, and Jack Napier was talking about this yesterday on Rule Zero, and I just want to reiterate what he said is I think it's kind of in poor taste to drag Charlie Kirk's corpse out of the ground to debate this shit, because it's still an ongoing investigation. It's still an ongoing trial. It's still like the allegations are there, the legal case is there, everything else is there. I find it interesting that that the entirety of the debate was really not centered on the facts, or nobody really cared about the data all that much or anything like that, whether it was like a vicious murder or a medium murder or a small murder or a whatever murder. You guys are just splitting hairs, man. It's just semantics at that point. But it doesn't matter, because that's not what the debate was for. The debate was to determine, are you on Team Israel or are you on Team whatever Andrew Wilson happens to be, which is not Team. Are you on Team Israel or are you on not Team Israel? That's the pretty much the entirety of the whole thing. And how do I know? Because the moment I say I don't even have to mention. I don't even have to mention the actual debate. I just say, well, debate is kind of dead, anyways. You're a Jew. What? I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying things in general, right? It's really just about determining whose team that you are on. and I mentioned this during I tried to as best I could on Mike's stream, is that first of all, debate's dead. I'm not. You want to know why I can speak at least somewhat knowledgeably about this? Because I've taken logic courses in college. Okay, I have. I was never on a debate team, but I took formal debate. I know logical fallacies and all that stuff. Like it was part of like my standard, your general ed kind of stuff back in the day. And when they used to teach stuff like, I don't know, American civics, those crazy things, you know. But so anyways, I wrote this essay, and I think I've read it on this show a couple of times. There's a difference between classical debate, modern debate, and postmodern debate, and then whatever the fuck it is we do now, right? Because it ain't any of those. And the problem is that debate is, and somebody mentioned this in the chat, debate is more or less useless right now. Because it's not there to determine truth, which is what classical debate was really for. It was, is this premise true or false? It wasn't meant to say the guy who takes the opposite side of, like, you take true and I take false. Yeah. I'm not saying you think it's true because you're a liar, because you're an asshole, because only your people believe in shit like that, right? That's whatever it is that we do today is to determine factions. And the winners or losers or whatever, it's not about determining truth. It's about what team are you on? Are you
Painting.
on?
That's all it is.
Team sports. Tribalism is what it is. Yeah, exactly. And so it's no longer about determining the veracity of a principle or a point, because if it were, you wouldn't get snide comments like, like these little drops in there, which of course Andrew Wilson's pretty good at. Like he does that quite. He licks sniz, right? But Candace Owens, if you get a few zingers in there, it's because people are so used to a debate between like a presidential debate or a political debate, and political debate is postmodern debate, and not even really that. It's just my opponent is a liar. That's what it is. You can't trust him. Don't vote for him. That's really what the outcome. The reason to debate is to the politics of personal destruction, to make sure that you're not you won't win. Right? Exactly. It's not whether or not that particular topic is true or false, or here's what I would do and here's what I wouldn't do. Nobody cares about that. You get like you lick sniz in the middle of that.
They want that gotcha.
That's what they that's what everybody's waiting. I got her. And it's professional wrestling. And I'm going to quote a guy that I actually have quite a bit of respect for, but there's a guy by the name of Lee Atwater. And Lee Atwater was a campaign manager for Ronald Reagan back in the 80s. And one of the things Lee Atwater says, and I'm going to paraphrase here because I'm not really sure exactly what the words were, but he said something to the effect that professional wrestling was the most purest, most like honest form like of sports in American history. Like it's the most honest sport that there is. And of course what are you talking about? It's fake, complete fake. He goes, no, because it gives the audience exactly what they want. They want a bad guy, an obvious, easy to identify bad, the Undertaker.
They're playing characters. It has
the Iron Sheik. I'm trying to think of 80s wrestlers. And then there's Hulk Hogan or Macho Man Randy Savage, or what's the guy who was in They Live? Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper,
who just passed away, by the way. God rest his soul. Easy to identify good guy, easy to identify bad guy. They both know. They both make up shit as they go along. That's the kayfabe part of it. There he is, Roddy Piper. Put that on there. Put that on. Yeah, he just passed away.
Well, he passed away in 2015.
Oh, 2015. Yeah. Okay. So he's been gone for a while, but I think I saw some memorial or something for him recently. Yeah, Roddy Piper. There you go. There's your boy right there. People say I look like the Undertaker.
You want me to pull him up?
Yeah. I mean, I probably don't look like him now, but like people thought I looked like the Undertaker from back in the day. I don't know. I think the Undertaker looks a little bit more like Phil Labonte.
Right here.
Oh, there you go. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's real to me. Yeah, you're right. It's real to me. Because because it gives the audience, it's bullshit. They know it's bullshit. You know it's bullshit. The audience knows it's bullshit. You and I both know it's bullshit. But it's like you still go and you go, man, I can't wait to see who wins this bout, right?
They're saying you're Gold Dust now.
I'm Gold Dust? This is who you think I am. Put that on there. Gold Dust? Dude, he looks like a DC Comics villain. Is he a villain? Is he a wrestler?
He's a wrestler.
He's a wrestler. There's a dude that looks like that is in professional wrestling?
Yeah. This is without makeup.
Okay, I could do. Yeah, I guess I kind of do, huh? My head is not that. Okay, maybe it is that round. Yes, there we go. Gold dust. Now I know you're homo. You want to know how I knew you were homosexual? you knew who Gold Dust was. Oh yeah. Oh, there it is. Sorry, Sammy. I didn't even think you were going to make it in today. There you go. Yeah, he passed away this morning. Moment of silence. Thank you, Sam, for all you do, by the way. Sam is always in the chat. He was always, and even when I don't even think he's going to be there, he'll like track me to find out like what show I'm going to. And I will be on another. I'll be on Kate something or others on Thursday, by the way. That weird girl. Nah, she's not weird. She's actually pretty cool. She's been nothing but nice to me. But yeah,
really, your conquest.
I'm conquest. I am not conquest. Now I know who you're talking about. Only if I shave the.
I don't know, bro.
There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah. I don't know. You had a gauntlet like this too earlier.
Dude, I don't have a friar tuck. Fuck, what's wrong with you? But I could shave myself. My. Do you want me to have that big ass porn stash right there? Then I'd start.
You're from that generation.
Then I would start looking like Nick Fuentes, circa 2023. No, it's not Kate Middleton. I wish I was going on with Kate Middleton. Actually, let me get to these right quick, since I can whip through these. Will you and Mike be testifying against Mia Ventura in her upcoming case? Anybody know who Mia Ventura is? No, they have not asked us to testify. If they did, they would probably ask Mike. But Mia Ventura is the chick that ripped us off, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, I didn't even make an announcement about this. New developments in the Mia Ventura case. Which is not her name. Her real name is Shoshana, something like that, because she's Team Israel. I can understand why she can get away with shit. She's like the Tinder swindler, but the chick version of Tinder swindler. Which I think Mike and I have this theory. We haven't made this public, but I'll just make it public now. I think Netflix is going to license people are writing a script now for that show. Because there is what is it? There's what is it? Anna something. There was a Making Anna was the name of the Netflix thing. Was it Anna?
Yeah, Making Anna Netflix.
Making Anna. Yeah, Making Anna.
Inventing Anna.
Inventing Anna. Julia Garner was great in that too, by the way. But that is it's about Anna Sorokin.
Yeah.
And how she like tricked all of these like New York socialites to think that she was like actually someone that she wasn't. Like, there's so many elements like that could go along with that. If they just all they got to do is just like license that the Mia Ventura story, because she was essentially a scam artist, and it still was a scam artist. That's the update, by the way. She got arrested, got out on bail, cut off the ankle monitor, and started doing the exact same thing again. Started going and talking to these guys and everything. And forget the guy's name, but there's a very rich dude that she had like sort of taken for a ride. And I think the dude's probably even still to this day believed her bullshit, because like she's a hot piece. I mean, she's a penthouse pet, right?
Yeah.
And tried to intervene, like he paid for legal counsel for her so that she wouldn't take the stand. I'm like, what the fuck did she know that he was all about, right? And I forget the guy's name, but Mike knows the guy's name. But there are so many twists, and I can't even believe like we're part of this. She came on our show, and it was on the election night show.
Jim
Kilgore was here.
Yeah,
yes.
I was here. Jim was here.
Oh my god!
And then she took what if I remember right? She took somebody's purse.
Yeah, well, she took more than that. She took credit cards. She took she took at least one purse, and then had the balls to go and use that credit card to go get her nails done, and then posted it on Instagram. Like she was a kleptomaniac, but she was like out. She was open about it. She was like, she didn't like try to cover her tracks. She was just like, "Bitch, I got your card." No, I know it was Alina had she had a cash card of some sort, like a paid cash card, like a credit, like you get a paid credit card or something like that. And then that had gone missing. She says there's only like $400 on it. She says, but like, she's like, I think I dropped it there. Like she had texted me after the show, and I'm like, well, I'll go back and look. Don't bother. she already had it. She had admit to already having taken it. And like, and mea culpa too, because like mea culpa. She had come in here, like she was one of the first girls to arrive here. And this was back in the day when we November 2024.
2024, yeah.
And so we had just been using this studio since July of 2024. And so I was giving you the tour. Here's studio, because we got studio A B over here, and then we got the green room back. Here's a green room, blah blah blah. And I got like my thank God she didn't like rip one of my guitars off of that, because I have like collectible guitars in here. But then she's like, "Oh, this is beautiful. You guys put this all together yourself." And she's like, she's one of those touchers, like when she's when you're talking to her and everything. I was like, "Yeah." And little did I realize she was like casing the place to see how easy it would be to get out when she had to get out. And so, anyways, there's been developments in that. And are we going to testify? I don't know what we would testify. Did she come in and rip us off? Yes. Thank you. No further questions. But I will say this: we probably won't testify, but we will probably be sourced for the Netflix thing. I'm dead certain we'll do that, because if they imagine this in the Netflix, God, imagine this in the Netflix special, whatever it is, making Mia, whatever, they have to recreate the set. We just push the table over here and we just set everything up the way that it was, and you see like the purse, because you could see the purse in the background and everything else. Imagine they had to recreate that. God, if you're writing the script for this right now,
I'm here. I remember everything.
yes, hit us up, man. Because they would probably have to, because we have all these beautiful women in here. That would be something that they'd probably want to put in the movie, I would think. So,
yeah. Might be a miniseries. We might get like 2 episodes.
How awesome would that be? Yeah, we're in like the second episode. Yo, Chief, thanks, brother man, for your donations. Let's see. For the record, if you think Andrew Wilson paid $300,000 to Candace out of his pocket, I got to bridge this. No, of course he didn't. Didn't he crowdsource that? I forgot how he paid that out. Yes, and TPUSA. And why? Because TPUSA wanted to take Candace down a notch because it's Erica Kirk proxy through Andrew. I understand your point taken, sir. She still took the money. The money is still not there. All hail the God Emperor. Thank you very much. I'm feeling very froggy today, my friend. Thank you for your concerns. $20 is $20. You are an Imperial Fist player? No, I'm not an Imperial Fist player, but I actually very much like Rogel Dorn as a character. And that was, and by the way, so what is he talking about? He's talking about our new splash page, because it kind of looks like my old picture, like from 2018, 2019. So that's why I actually use that. Let's see. Will we ever get a 40K episode? Would you like a 40K?
Dude, I could set up like a top down.
We'd have to do it from my game room of my house. Okay. People don't know this. I have a dedicated game room. My game room looks like this. Okay. I have a table in my game room. Well, let me read the rest of this. The Alpha Legion male. No, I don't play Alpha Legion. The Rational Orc. No.
That's what I would play.
Do you play orcs? I have orcs.
Love to play orcs.
Would you?
Yeah,
I can give you some orcs if you want. I have like armies I'll never play.
Powers is fucking.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's psych powers for orc players. No. So here's the deal. I have here. Let me pull that up. I have a game room in my house, my upstairs. I'm actually trying to get Jake Cope to put some recessed lighting in there, because I think I could turn it into something really nice. But I have a 3/4 size pool table in there. And the pool table also serves as a ping pong table. And you then you could flip it, and then it's a game table. You can do whatever the hell you want to on it, right? Which of course is great, because it's about 6x8, maybe, or 6.5 by 8. And so it makes a perfect like game table for 40K, which of course is where I keep all my stuff up there, right? And then I also have I have a couple of video games up there, like full size video games. They're multi-game games, but like I have a couple of those in there. And then there's a closet that's attached to it that I keep all my stuff and my gear in there. So yeah, we could do that. We could do a 40K episode, and we'd have to do it remote from upstairs, and I could I could just lay out the terrain and do this whole thing. We could just bullshit for a while. I should do that when the LVO is here. What did he say? The All-American Speakers Bureau. Oh, wait. Put that in. Let's
Ram put that up.
Let's read that. This just in. Sorry, maybe I was right. God, I hate being right all the time. The All-American Speakers Bureau lists divorce lawyer and author James Sexton as a keynote speaker, but the exact start date or year he was added to their specific roster is not publicly disclosed. I can tell you exactly when it was.
He's essentially ranges around 10 to 20,000.
Damn, that's
pretty
pretty decent. Because I know Matt Walsh makes like $50,000 per. Travels from New York City to speak on relationships, marriages. What's All-American Speakers?
There you go. He has a
Bureau?
booking biography here.
There it is. AAE. I will guarantee. Is that the one? Is that the same? Somebody dig this up. Was that the same one that Jordan Peterson signed on with? Because that sounds pretty. AAE sounds pretty familiar to me.
He's not popping up.
No, he's not. Okay. Yeah. Put that on screen.
It is.
Is it? Because I'm not seeing it.
Oh, that didn't pop up.
Yeah. You got to switch the tabs. There you go. Damn, I hate being right all the time. Fuck. No wonder he's not talking to us anymore. It's okay. I understand, James. I know we can't have the manosphere stink on you anymore.
It's a full talent booking agency.
Yep. I was right.
Yep.
I was right. You heard it here first on the Rational Mail.
You got a real job.
Jim. No wonder the story's changed. I bet if I talk to him privately, yeah, I kind of have to say what I have to say. Yep. Oh man. Sorry, Jim. Sorry. As I said, I'm still friends. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus. You got to do what you got to do. But I was right. I hate being right all the time, but I'm right all the time. Is the massive online support for Lindsay Clancy indicative of the societal mania bolstering the female solipsism? Yes. We're going to get into that here in just, where are we at? We're at the 1 hour mark. Okay. I will dig into Clancy. As soon as I get done, we'll go into Clancy. Yes, because there's more to it. Like people want to, I have to sort of do my due diligence so you guys get exactly what the story is. We also have some allegations against the husband as well. Mm-hmm. I watched on the ride over here, I watched the video about how there's some kind of, there's a missing 14 minutes of the guy's testimony, and there's some weird shit going on. Of course, that's what the ladies want you to know, mm-hmm. But my people were asking me about this, and I was just starting to get into it and reading it. And my take is this: the real red pill lesson of Lindsay Clancy is not, oh well, she killed her kids because she wants to go out and party or whatever like that. No, maybe I'm a little bit. That probably shouldn't have titled the podcast this today, but I think a lot of people wanted that. Oh, you get picking up those memes.
Yeah, that's for the picture. He has a new wife now.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he picked up a new girl.
Whoa! So that happened within the last
2 years, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an intercollar. Dr. Rachel Dennis.
Wow. Okay, well, we'll get to hold that on and keep that tab. No, my observation is this: watch what all the ladies say.
Yeah.
Watch. This is a woman who, by her own account, by her own admission up to this point, has strangled her kids, and not just strangled her kids, but used the elastic kind of workout.
Yeah, it was elastic
resistance bands.
Yeah,
which means that's what that means of your own kids. So that's kind of harsh. There's something going on there, right? Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, then how do you, if you're on team woman, how do you square that circle?
All right, let me show you here.
Yes.
All right, so they try to defer all the blame towards the doctors, that the psychiatrist and everything that she was talking to about basically having these thoughts and everything. And essentially all they did, like most of these psychiatrists do, they up the fucking dose. They just give you more.
Yeah, speaking of it, keep going.
Essentially, they're hating on the professionals, saying you gave her more and more and more. Look at that.
These are the medications that Lindsay Clancy had filled. And by the way, they're almost all entirely by the same chick. Jennifer Tufts
and Rebecca,
Julie Paul, Rebecca. Notice they're all female names. Rebecca gave her a lot of the dude. These are her drug dealers.
Literally, yeah.
Jennifer Tufts again. Jennifer Tufts, Rebecca. The only one that's a little okay. The only weird one was Alia Goodhart. Everyone else is pretty much the same ones, right? Oh yeah. Jennifer Tufts. There it again.
If you look up how many times she reached out for help and was failed, like she was basically asking for help from a lot.
Yes, and diazepam, dude, that does a fucking number on you too. Trazodone, God, look at the shit that she's on.
She was doped up to the shit.
Holy shit!
By the end of it,
yeah. So I ain't saying that's what made her do it, but that's probably what made her do it.
Essentially, they're painting the man also to have fault and possibly being a culprit in this.
In it, yeah.
With also his best friend,
an accomplice.
Yeah. So they look like each other.
So anyway, we'll get to the details here in just a second, but anyways, my overall perspective of this with the Owens and Andrews debate is watch what happens in the aftermath. Okay. Mm-hmm. My same attitude is towards the Lindsay Clancy thing is watch what happens in the aftermath. Watch how people try to cope. Because that's where the real story is. That's where the real red pill lessons of Lindsay Clancy are, right? It's in what happens afterwards. Mm-hmm. Because that's like, for instance, I showed you what's the guy who killed his wife and kids, and now he's getting married to the 39-year-old chick in the video that I put out.
Can't remember his name. Oh my God.
Yeah. Here, I'll pull it up. I got the video. Where did he go? Chris Watts, that's what it is.
Chris Watts.
Like looks at a man who annihilated his entire family and is like, oh, he's the one. Because if you haven't heard, Chris Watts is getting married. That's right, that Chris Watts. Chris Watts, who 8 years ago on August 13th ended his entire family, his pregnant wife, their unborn child, and both of their daughters, who were ages 4 and 3 years old. Now,
okay, children, listen up. Why is this story suddenly surfacing right now to, let's say, maybe diffuse some of the Lindsay Clancy shit that's going on right now? Hey, well, Lindsay Clancy did it, but this guy's even crazier, right? Yeah. And then, of course, yeah, he is. And getting married to the 39-year-old realtor. Yes, they're all realtors. Yes, with $11,000 Chanel bags or whatever. Yeah, they're
Chanel.
You can put whatever Gucci bags. You get paid quite a bit of money. But by the way, that's code for escort in our business. But I mean, just the thought of this guy who is like, he's a multiple murderer. Okay, like his entire family. I got into this, by the way, when Luigi decided to go and end that guy from United Healthcare, that dude. And everybody goes, and by the way, Rob Henderson, and I love you, Mac and Murphy, but you jumped on it too, so I got to throw you in here as well. But all these very respectable academia guys who are like, well, the only reason women go for these, hardened criminals and these murderers is because they're good looking. Have a look. Well, and they're not wrong about some of them. Like, what was it, Ted Bundy, or what was the other dude? Who was the one that Zac Efron played? It wasn't Ted Bundy. It was the other Dahmer. It was Jeffrey Dahmer, right? Dahmer. They were supposed to be good. I don't think so, but they're supposed to be good looking guys, right? Didn't Jeffrey Dahmer have like a 6-pack or something like that? He was like one of those dudes was like,
that was him in the trial,
right? Yeah. Well, Zac Efron's it's not fair to put Zac Efron on the cover of that. But so, and then you got Anders Breivik. You've got was it the guy who was the Boston Marathon bomber kid? Everybody thought he was great. Anders Breivik. Yeah, that's it right there. Like people thought, because that was in Norway, right? Everybody thought that dude was good looking, man. Richard Ramirez, easy enough to find.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Richard Ramirez. I'm trying to think of the other ones. So they start throwing these names out there, and Luigi, no homo, but not a bad looking dude. Night Stalker Richard Ramirez, not a bad looking dude, right? Back in the day, maybe he's a little weird now, of course. But so then they say, well, that's so women want to get with the guy because he's good looking, and I'm like, no, they get with him because he's a fucking fucking murderer. He's a criminal. Can you not can we just please accept this, right? No, we can't. Okay. Well, what about James Holmes, the guy who was the shooter for the Aspen, Colorado theater shooting, right? What about that guy? Definitely not going to be on the cover of GQ anytime soon, right? There are, and then the other thing is one of the reasons that, depending on the prison system, that they will not allow like female prison guards, which I don't know why there would be female prison guards in the first place, but they won't let them in with the male population is because it happens too often that they fall in love with one of the prisoners and they try to bust them out, right? Or they end up pregnant, right? Or they end up on OnlyFans. But and it doesn't even necessarily have to be an incarcerated criminal. It could be a war boss from the Middle East. I forget about this back in the day, but there was an FBI agent who was supposed to be on this case of this. She was the agent, and this guy, and by the way, she was also married to like a military guy, a military official dude.
Yeah.
And she was supposed to be on the case of this guy who's a Middle Eastern kind of, warlord dude. And I can find it for you if you want. Yeah. FBI agent falls in love with, I don't know, Islamic warlord. You'll find it down there. I forget which one it is. Yeah, there you go. Warlord. That in there. It'll probably find it. Daniela Green. There it is. Yep. 2014. I wrote about this on the Rational Mail on my blog, actually. So we're looking at hybristophilia, and this is not a guy who is, gosh, she's a piece too. But it's not a guy who is in any U.S. prison system, okay? Women like thugs. Women like dangerous men, okay? Yeah. Simple as that, but you guys just won't let that happen. You just won't cover that. Like Rob Henderson, Steve Stewart Williams, I don't know, maybe Mac and Murphy would. But all you dudes who are like, so evil psych, yeah, until I'm talking about, let's see, the rash, we're up to 43 right now, of female teachers who are statutorily forcing copulation on their male students. I count up the number of them every year. We're at 43 right now, which is actually kind of low. It's kind of dropped off a little bit. 43, doing good, girls. All right. We can get it down to 0, I'm sure. Nobody wants to touch that. Nobody except for me wants to touch that. In fact, when Rob Henderson talks about it, Rob Henderson says, well, if the kid really enjoyed it, is it really a crime? Jesus. Yes, Rob, it fucking is a crime in the United States. And until you have decided that you're going to go march on Washington or file some new bill about it to lower the age of consent, which I know you're not going to do, shut the fuck up, okay? Because it is a crime. And if it was a man that was doing it, they would go to jail, and they would go to jail for a much longer sentence, because we tend to we don't have the kind of leniency for men that we do for women in the judicial system. Another topic you will not touch, a well-documented topic you will not touch. Same thing with hybristophilia. This chick right here, I will guarantee you, these are intellectual betters, our intellectual dark web, punditry, academia, whatever, intelligentsia. Sorry, I'm trying to use Royce words. Intelligentsia. There are certain topics they will never touch. And those hybristophilia is one. And when they are forced to, they will say, well, the guy's good looking, or else they will say, well, she's damaged. And that's where I wanted to go with this, because everyone will say that chick was damaged. In this case, Lindsay Clancy, you got a good point. She probably is damaged. You are correct, sir. But not according to her husband, because I watched the testimony of her husband, and they, like the interrogation, like the back and forth, I guess it would be the deposition. They were asking, where were you on this? And when, that's how they know there's a missing 14 minutes. Right. And he was very calm. He answered everything very calmly, very measured, everything else. Like, he was just matter of fact, what he could remember, because they were asking him some pretty specific shit from a while ago.
Yeah. It's like 3 years ago.
And I can imagine having all 3 of your kids murdered is something that's a bit traumatic. But he seemed very measured in his responses and everything. And if you say so, you have the logs to show me where I was, right? But the thing is they want to make it all about him, obviously. But the fact of the matter is that she's damaged. She was. In fact, that's the first thing they asked him. How did she seem on that day? He's like, I don't know, normal. Like he didn't have like, you can say, well, she seemed like she was disturbed or that she was, he never said that at all in the entire, she was just normal. And even when they had the call after the murders had occurred, she was very measured. She sounded like she was, he said, she sounded like she was busy with something. I'm like, but is that the standard cop out for hybristophilia, the standard cop out for whenever a woman is involved in anything that is like she is caught dead to rights, right? You could even make a case for Mia Ventura. Mia Ventura had a hard life. She had a really tough childhood and she developed kleptomania. And she couldn't help herself. She needs help. She needs a bunch of drugs to keep her from stealing, credit cards and getting her nails done the next day and posting it on Instagram. What normal woman would ever do such a thing? Well, a lot of them. But that's the thing I always say is like, am I willing to say that every woman is a hybristophile? No, not every woman is a hybristophile, but only women are hybristophiles. And that's the thing that throws people off, because when I say that, then it makes it a gendered issue. It makes it just about women. And we can't, what are the rules, children? When we talk about women, we always have to talk about who? A guy, to balance the yin with the yang. And when you can't do that, that's when women get fidgety and they're like eels in the weeds, man. They just got to find some way to say, well, she was damaged or there was something, she had a child, there are mitigating circumstances, right? She's on all these drugs. She was on all these drugs, right? But I know that I'll tell you who's not on drugs. the chick that's marrying Watts. That chick does not look like she's high on drugs. Okay. She's actually making that choice on her own to get with a guy who is a multiple murderer. Can I stress that again? Like that's the dude she didn't choose you. Incel. Get your shit together. Okay, what do I got to do? Well, apparently it's murder your wife, murder your 3 kids, and get a life sentence in the state of whatever he is right now, because apparently that's how it works. James Holmes has a teenage fan club. Nicholas Cruz, go look him up, has a teenage fan club. What's his name? I forget the guy who's on the Boston Marathon bomber kid. That guy, teenage fan club. Nicholas Cruz. There he is. Oh yeah, he's a looker.
You want to bring that up?
Yeah, throw him on there. I haven't seen Nick. How's Nick doing these days? There you go. That's Nicholas Cruz right there. I don't know. He's not maybe when he first got picked up. Yeah, he's a little like if that the guy with the ears right there, that one in the middle. Yeah. Ladies, help me out here. If this dude came up to you on the street, like he was charming and everything else, and yeah, he asked you out live and in person like you think you'd probably say, yeah, man, let's go get coffee. Let's go down to Starbucks. Right? No, I don't think so. I got 30 jewels. Be careful with that. Thank you for your jewelry. Got Emperor Swallow. Don't get no. Do not get hose. Sure.
I'm like, man, well, I don't get no hoes, man.
Yeah, apparently not. But have you been watching my Instagram recently? I get hoes. As you have always say, Rollo, Candace versus Andrew was an argument of empiricism versus the language of emotionalism. Thank you for making that observation. Well done, sir. You get one of these.
Hello there, children. How's it going?
Go to the head of the class. You did well. Very good. Yes, that is true. That was basically what that is you've got Andrew Wilson giving fact after fact after fact. And then it's like, I don't know. I feel like Charlie Kirk came to me in a dream and told me that, he thinks that it was plotted by Israel and France, the 2 countries I hate the most. What do you think of the keto diet? No. My brother was on the keto diet for a while. I don't know. I don't know if I could just eat meat all the time. I mean, I like, don't get me wrong. I think it'd be okay to do for a while. Like okay. So the purpose of any diet, what's the purpose of the keto diet? To lose weight, to lose fat. you notice you don't really hear too much about like paleo anymore. You don't. I mean, I guess keto is still a thing, but like not as much as it used to be. You know why? Because we have Reddit True Tide. We've got Ozempic now. I'm on the Ozempic diet. Was it Tiffany Fox? I'm on the street Ozempic diet, which is meth. Why do you have you ever done keto?
Ketogenic? Like
Keto diet, the keto diet. Yeah,
I've done it for a little bit.
Speaking of the mic.
Oh yeah, there you go. I've done it for a little bit, but I didn't really like it that much, to be honest.
Is it carbs? It's no carbs. It's not just meat. Meat is a carnivore.
You can have carbs. It's just not enough to break through your body and break ketosis. So essentially, it's just so you burn fat no matter what. So, but I don't know. I didn't like it that much. I mean, meat and fucking eggs and, eating everything under the sun is fucking amazing. But man, do carbs energize you so much better.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I'll be honest.
that's what they're supposed to.
Exactly.
That's the purpose of carbs. I don't know if I can live without carbs. I like my carbs too much.
Yeah, it's a tough diet, but it does get results.
I mean, I don't.
That is true.
I try to, man. I mean, I'm on a bodybuilder's diet. I'm not really on a. If you ask me about my diet, my diet, caffeine and stress. That's my diet. Yeah. Yes, that's what I exist. Baby. Caffeine and then I eat hate on my cheat days.
Yeah.
All right. Oh shit! Sorry, I just dumped that one. I shouldn't dump that. The guy was his. Where'd it go? God damn it! Oh, there it is. Okay, now I got it. Sorry. Here you go. I'm really sick and tired of women telling me why they deserve to off their quote unquote our kids. Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is so the greater message of Lindsay Clancy, which I'm going to get into here. I've got it up here on Perplexity, which I'll give you the rundown here. But the overall message or the overall lesson, I think, is to watch what happens in the aftermath. Now I'm going to so story time with Rollo before I get into the particulars here. Story time is this. As you know, my brother-in-law, who was my sister-in-law, my wife's sister's first husband, ended up literally. And he never reached out for help. He seemed very normal right up to the day that it happened. Right. No, like he was not saying, you would never have gone, hey man, do you need help? Are you okay? Is everything good?
He masked.
Just no. Cause he was just like, it is what it is. Just going and doing stuff. And he wasn't like stonewalling or anything. He was like talking to you like I was talking, completely normal. And you would never because one of the things I've discovered as a result of that experience, it was back in 2003. One of the things I learned two lessons from that. One is just because a guy is completely like straight ass normal doesn't mean he's not going through some shit. Okay. Because most guys are just going to say, hey, it is what it is. Right. And the reason why they're doing that is because, and this is me spitballing here. This is, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a clinical psychologist, nor am I a quote unquote, a great suicide preventionist or whatever. I don't do that as a line of work. Okay. It's just so you know, but here's my take on this whole thing is like when women, they say how women attempt to off themselves more than men. Yeah, they probably do because it's an emotional plea. It's a plea for attention. It's a plea for like, oh, I'm going through some shit.
It's a cry for help.
It's a cry for help. That's why they are less successful at it. Men, on the other hand, we off ourselves and depending on whose numbers you're using, about 4 times. Some numbers are 5, some numbers are 3. So about 4.5 times the rate of, and they are successful at it because they use lethal means to do so, right? There's the 2 most popular ways of men kind of offing themselves is to use a gun or to do what my brother-in-law did, which was hang himself. And the latter is really meant to send a message because you think about it when you are trying to be as efficient as you can with a firearm, that's one thing. If you're going to leave a body for someone to discover and bring down out of the tree or wherever it is, that's a whole nother message, right? So let's see.
Attempt rates are roughly 1.5 to 3 times higher than
attempted,
men.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what they'll always say. Well, you guys think you got it so hard. I'm like, we're offing ourselves at 4 times the rate as you are. Yeah, but we do it 3 times more often. Oh, you win. Well done. Yes. Okay, great. Yeah. What are the key statistics?
These are like 2024.
2024. Yeah, stats. Yeah. Either way, men are the end result. There's more dead men than there are dead women. Okay. That's the end result of the whole thing. So anyways, it's my contention is that the reason for that, the reason why men are more at it than women are, is because it is a practical decision. It is not an emotional decision. They say, well, you'd have to be really emotional to do that. No, not at all. Because I will tell you from I've experienced this twice, by the way. One was, of course, my brother-in-law. The other one was a guy that I knew who was a DJ, an actual like radio DJ in Reno, Nevada, who ate a bullet because he couldn't live without his girlfriend. Right. Same thing with Anthony Bourdain, another great example. Right. Anthony Bourdain offing himself because over Asia Argento of all, man, if I could save one motherfucker in my life, it would be Anthony Bourdain. Because that did not need to happen. That was the most senseless, stupid ass. You want to like when I tell you I have a chapter in my first book, The Rational Male, available on Amazon. Go pick it up today, because it might actually save your life. Right? There's a chapter in there called Kill the Beta, right? And then the subtext for that is before it kills you. Because what happens is if you linger in that too long and you have these sort of blue pill beta tendencies for as long as you Anthony Bourdain, people ran me up the flag. I'm going to use it again. Sorry, Ryan Stone. Ran me up the flagpole over, and by the way, Pat Campbell, because we both talked about this when it happened, ran me up the flagpole for saying that Anthony Bourdain was blue pill and beta, because they're like, how can you say that? He made $1 million. He had all these, he was jet setting. He had this successful, plan. He was not a bad looking dude for his age. Right. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But the dude was a blue pill beta when it came to his love life, and wore his heart on his sleeve and wanted this perfect soulmate kind of thing that he thought was going to be found in Asia Argento of all people. And he'd been married once before and came pretty close during that time too. Right. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And was very like, the decision was made the moment that his fantasy of having a one-itis, whatever, soulmate thing going on with Asia Argento was dashed to bits because the paparazzi had taken pictures of her in Italy with her 29-year-old boy toy, right? That was enough to say, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. That's it, right? When I deal with guys who are being zeroed out in my Reignite program, one of the first things I try to assess with those guys is this guy somebody that I can just simply, work with from the rip, or does this guy need like really serious professional help before I even jump into? I have to ask, both Joe and I both have to assess that when if you come into my program, which is Reignite, I tend to work with guys between the ages of 35 and 65. We've kind of expanded. The prime demographic for male offing yourselfery is 45, 43, 45, somewhere in there. The average age of first divorce is 43 years old for a guy. The average between the ages, is it 47?
Yeah, 47. Yeah.
47. So that's the mean average there. So 45 to 65, I believe, is the demographic that is at the high risk demo. Is that what?
Yeah,
I believe I'm right. Yeah. God, the minute you start like putting this in Google, they're like, "Do you need help?"
Yeah, exactly. They just hit me with
no, dude, I need
hotline.
stats. No, do you need help? Really? What's the biggest killer of men after 50? Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Yep. What do you think the biggest killer of men under 50? Under 50 is, right? In the UK. Yep, you guessed it. Offing yourself. Zeroing yourself out, literally. Making a decision that you can't march back. So anyways, when I'm working with guys in Reignite, that's the first thing I try to assess is, am I dealing with a guy that needs that kind of help first? So I'm like, okay. And then from there, I can say, okay, well, this guy, what are his particular circumstances? And the reason why I do that is because men, when it comes to offing yourself, is a practical, pragmatic decision. And people don't want to hear that. Now, I'm going to explain to you why that is. Because what happens is when a guy gets zeroed out, he has two choices, right? Whether it's he got divorced and his whole life plan gets thrown out the window because, like in the case of, I'll use Robert Kiyosaki because he's cool with me doing this, but like when it was him and Kim Kiyosaki came to him at 64 years old. Well, she was 64. And she said, I don't need you anymore. literally, and he quote unquote from Kiyosaki, right? I don't need you anymore. And he was in his 70s at that time. Now, he's Robert Kiyosaki. I talked to Robert just yesterday. But that's kind of hard to hear when you're 73 years old. I think he was almost 10 years older. Because for the longest time, he will say this himself. I was a fat blue pill beta. Rolo, thanks for waking me up. Well, you're welcome. But the thing is like, if you're in your 70s and you made something of yourself or whatever, and then suddenly all that stuff you want to know why guys lose their shit when they find out that the kids aren't theirs when they're in their 60s? Because they lived a life that was a lie up to that point, and everything that they thought they were investing in for their future and putting their genetics into the next generation or leaving some sort of generational wealth for their kids and their grandchildren, all of that is going to the pool boy. Going to the dude she fucked that she's been keeping secret from you for 20, 30 years, right? You might lose your shit. You might off yourself, you might off your kids, and you might off her too, right? I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that you should. This is not an endorsement in any way whatsoever. In fact, I'm trying to do this so you won't do that, right? But the fact of the matter is that's enough, because that's how guys are wired, right? We want to know that the kid is ours. It's paternity, right? We want to know that the kid that we put money into, parental investment theory, we want to put our investment into that child. We want to know the only thing that we'll do anything. We'll die for that kid. We'll put money into the college fund. We'll do whatever for that kid. The only stipulation is it's got to be my genes in that child. No, can't even do that. We can't even do that. But that's why. So when guys get to that point where they're going to off themselves, it's a pragmatic decision, because they have two choices. And here's the two choices. They can either rebuild themselves or they can off themselves.
Because rage turns to wrath.
Yes. Right? Yes. And yeah, it could turn bad for that. You want to know why? There's I think this is generally the case in most states right now. But if a doctor's office for doing genetic tests for, like, say a kid's got cancer or something, there's a genetic disease that needs to be addressed, and they discover that the biological father isn't actually the biological father, they are under law prevented from telling that father that he is not actually, he has to find that, it has to be admitted to him somewhere. Sooner or later, you're going to get it, right? Yeah. Like, how come I don't have this disease and my kid does? Sometimes it's unavoidable, but the doctor's office, and this is legal, like, it's like they do this because they're covering their ass, right? But they do that because the presumption is that if the father finds out, he'll lose his shit and go postal, right? And maybe they're not, maybe they're right about that, right? But that's why that stipulation exists. So when it's really interesting when 23andMe comes back and they go, hey, looks like I'm mostly Norwegian and Danish. Great. Yeah. What are you? Estonian and North African. Wait a minute. Where is it? No sharing medical privacy. Yeah, because there's a Medical Privacy Act that goes along with that too.
Yeah, but
hospitals cannot legally tell a father about a baby or let him enter the room if the mother says no. Why do you suppose that is? Yeah. So anyways, getting back to the offing yourself topic. The men are practical about that. You're not going to see some big emotion. I mean, maybe some guys are going to get drunk and deal with it that way. Mm-hmm. But by and large, I think this is me spitballing once again. I think one of the reasons why guys are more successful at it is because it's a pragmatic decision. I'm just going to do it as quick. I have talked to guys. I can show you in some of my comment threads of the Rational Male. I have guys who have told me that they had an appointment with death. Like, they had a time and a place, and they were going to do it on this day. And they waited a week or so because they wanted to get all their things in line with their insurance and everything else, so it could be as the least inconvenience as possible, right? Because they knew they were going to do this, right? And I had a guy, I was at the 2017-21 convention. It was the first convention I ever did. I had a guy come up to me, and he was in tears. And he comes up and he gives me this huge hug. I'm like, dude, are you cool? Hey, I'm here for you, kind of thing. He goes, my kids have a father because of you. I'm like, okay, I was interested. This is the first time it had ever happened to me. I didn't even know that my book had this effect on anyone. And so he comes up to me and goes, yeah, I said, I had a plan on this particular day to commit Harry Carey. And I was trying to get all my things in order to do so, to be at least amount of inconvenience for him. But then I don't know how I did, but I stumbled across your work. I read the book and I canceled my date with death, essentially. And so he just wanted to thank me. It was really cool. I signed his book and everything. And it was a little bit it was the first time it happened to me. So it was a little bit of a weird experience. I'm sorry if it was you, and I'm a little weirded out even right now. But that's how practical he was. I'm going to set a date. I'm going to make sure that the insurance is okay. I'm going to make sure that the kids are taken care of. I'm going to make no mess for anybody, the least amount of mess for, I got a dog, I better give the dog to somebody else. Like trying to get everything in this perfect order. And then this is the date, this is the time, and this is when I'm going to do it. Right. And by the way, there's no one that is more meticulous and more regimented than vets, than military vets who are coming back for maybe they got PTSD or whatever. That you want to know what the suicide rate is for U.S. military servicemen. It's crazy. If you have read my my second book, the Preventive Medicine, the dedication in there is to military vets who off themselves every 22 seconds or something like that, or 22 per week. I think 22 deaths per 1,000 individuals. There it
100,000.
100,000 individuals. Yes. Yeah. There is no, you want a demographic that's up there. That's it. Yeah. Oh, good. Well, the rate dropped about 16% in the military archive active branches. Okay. Well, at least I've been making it. See, I remember I wrote the Preventive Medicine back in 2015. So
58% higher risk of suicide compared to civilian peers who never served.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. And I would say if they broke that down by gender, yeah.
Hell of a pie chart.
Yes, you would have a hell of a pie chart, which they won't, because if they do, then it looks like something that guys get that women don't get, right? Yay, we get to die and you don't. Hooray. Yeah. But so anyways, the point I'm making is that there's that practical decision that goes into that. Whereas for women, it's an emotional appeal. So when we're talking about rationalism, empiricism versus emotionalism, that's just one more aspect of that whole thing. So anyways, let's go back to Clancy here real quick. I wanted to throw this out there. The important thing to remember here with the Clancy case is that this is an active criminal trial. Okay. And it's a contested forensic psychiatry case. It's not a settled explanation of why 3 kids were killed, right? Clancy pleaded not guilty to 3 first-degree murder charges. So she already pled guilty to this. So ladies, if you're trying to find some after-the-fact rationalization about why she did it or whatever, the fact of the matter is she's already pled guilty to having done this. So you don't get that back. It is what it is. It's unfortunate, yes, but it is what it is. So you can make all of these post-facto rationalizations about how it was the guy or she was on too many meds or whatever else. You can have that conversation all you'd like. But the fact remains is that she is a killer of children. Got it? Okay. And first-degree murder on top of the premeditated, I should add. What doesn't matter? Yeah, it does. The central dispute is whether she acted with criminal intent or was so impaired by mental illness that she lacked legal responsibility. So it's insanity. Pleading insanity, right? Let's see. So on January 24th, 2023, Cora Clancy, 5 years old at the time, Dawson Clancy, 3, and Callan Clancy, 8 months, died after being strangled in the family's Duxbury, Massachusetts home. Lindsay then seriously injured herself in an apparent suicide attempt. And so how did she do that? She crushed up a bunch of pills, took the pills, attempted to slit her wrist. Now you say she did it in a different way or something like that?
Essentially, if she really wanted to slit her wrist, there's a way to do it where she should know this. Cut the right vein, right?
Right. She cut this way instead of this way? Yeah.
No, the other way around.
Other way around, yeah. So attempted to slit her wrists and jumped out of a 2-story window and survived. That's a tough bitch. So that was the attempted offing of herself. And then the one thing they do leave out is that the kids were asphyxiated with elastic workout rubber bands. Okay, so that is some gnarly shit. Okay. Prosecutors alleged that she arranged for her then husband, Patrick Clancy, to leave the home for takeout food and medication, then killed the children with the exercise bands that he was gone. While he was gone.
She got paralyzed.
She got paralyzed. Oh, from the jump. Fall, yeah. This case is currently being tried in Plymouth Superior Court. Reporting in mid-August indicates the prosecution was nearing the end of the presentation after roughly 13 days of testimony. Okay. So that's the whole thing. So the legal questions were this: what was her state of mind? That's number one. Okay, the killings were deliberate and planned, pointing to the conscious intent. Now the defense is going to say that she was overpowered by several mental illnesses described by the bipolar described by the defense as postpartum psychosis and bipolar disorder, which distorted her grip on reality. Then there's the evidence that has emphasized her actions before and after the deaths, including alleged planning, digital evidence, communications, and the mechanics of the crime. So she was very meticulous about the whole thing, which would imply premeditation. Right? Then the defense is going to say her deteriorating mental health, insomnia, treatment history, mental changes, hospitalization, clinical testimony in some way repudiate that. I don't know how. What is undisputed? She has pleaded not guilty, but reporting indicates the defense does not dispute that she carried out the killings, and which they don't. Okay, which is exactly the same. All right. So the other thing that needs to be put. So here's what the ladies, if you would like to try to rationalize this after the fact, here it is. I think this is probably the cogent point here. Okay, remember, she hasn't been proven to be psychotic yet. Okay, nothing has been proven about that. And she, let's see. Okay, so her competency is actually what's being tested in court.
Yeah.
Okay, so we there's no doubt that she did this already. Okay, but here's the defense's thing is that she had what's called postpartum psychosis. It's rare, severe psychiatric emergency associated with the symptoms such as hallucinations, delusions, paranoia, confusion, extreme mood disturbance, insomnia, sometimes thoughts of harming oneself or an infant. It is clinically distinct from postpartum depression, although depression, anxiety, sleep disruptions, and mood symptoms may coexist or appear in a broader perinatal mental health picture. Okay. This is going to be the one that they're going to use. I've got this right here. The important nuances here is that it usually begins suddenly and soon after childbirth, which, remember, the kid was 8 months.
8 months, but it could fare up all the way to 2 to 3
I'll give
years
it to you.
old.
I'll allow it. Yeah. Often within the first 2 weeks is what it says. Yeah. Okay. Though later onset can occur. Callan was about 8 months when he died, so timing is an issue, is likely to matter when evaluating the competing experts. Risk is evaluated among people with bipolar disorder, which clearly she had something going on, because we already saw the list of medications she was being prescribed during this time, right? Or do they give diazepam to bipolar people?
Oh, find out right now.
I think that's one of the things they give them. I would love to know what those like look up diazepam and some of that other stuff and see what that's used to treat. Or prior history of postpartum psychosis, sleep loss and a difficult postpartum course can be relevant. Can of course be relevant clinical factors. Public discussion should not imply that people with postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, or even psychosis are generally violent. They don't necessarily have to be. The condition is a medical emergency. Most people experience perinatal mental health disorders. Most people do not harm children. Okay, so I think that's not part of the question.
Diazepam is a nervous system to treat anxiety,
muscle spasm,
seizures.
So it's an anxiety. It's an anxiety medicine. Got it. Okay, good enough. So, anyways, what's going to happen? I think is going to be the interesting thing is whether she gets off on insanity or she doesn't get off on insanity. I don't know if there's a death penalty in Massachusetts. It might be. Clearly premeditated murder one. She's already pled guilty to those. Now people are saying, okay, women are saying that the husband is gaslighting her. Perhaps he was the one that actually committed the crime and gaslit her or drugged her or did something to her. And that's the missing 14 minutes of his testimony right there. I'm like, that is a real stretch considering how far away he was during those 14 minutes, which has been corroborated. So I don't think that it's going to be a really tall order to see what happens afterwards. As I was mentioning before in my sort of suicide discourse here was that when my brother-in-law ended up committing Harry Carey, right? Ended him self-deletion. It wasn't so much the actual act of him. I mean, it was shocking. It was the first time I ever had to experience anything like that too. Remember, this is 2003. My lesson wasn't so much what he had done. I kind of could get why he did what he did because my sister-in-law had already taken up with a very rich guy after that. And so she had filed for divorce. Remember, she was very religious and now she's filing for divorce because she wanted to get with a guy who was like, let's just say a multimillionaire. I'm not going to say who or what or where. And I have a really tough time like sitting down at Thanksgiving dinner sometimes, like having to say, hey, pass the sweet potatoes. But this is a guy who had done everything right. He did everything by the book. He's all a stereotype. In my, I think it was my third book, I mentioned an individual by the name of Thomas Ball who self-immolated himself on the courthouse steps when he lost his children, right? And he was where I got the quote of the second set of books, the second rule set, right? And Thomas Ball, there you go. Matt, you put self-immolation or something like that, you'll get it. Yeah. Anyways, so he wrote this very long manifesto about like how other people were playing by one set of rules, and he was there you go, that guy. And he was everybody else was playing by one set of rules, and he was playing by the old set of rules, and that was enough for him to, off himself as a result. And so when you look at the sort of the practical effect of guys offing themselves, and then you put it into perspective of the women who were explaining why he did what he did afterwards. That was the real lesson for me at that time. It wasn't the fact that he did that. I could understand why he did what he did, right? I don't agree with it because I don't agree with suicide no matter what, right? But I can understand the practicality. I understand the mathematics that were used in that. And he came to a conclusion and a resolution, and that I don't think anybody should, but that's where he came. Now, the real school that I got after that was everyone trying to explain why he did what he did. Why he went through all of this. Well, he must have had something wrong with him. It must have been some sort of, most people, like human beings, like self-preservation is the number one thing. And so you have to have something wrong with you to override that self-preservation instinct, right? So you jump off a cliff. Right? I saw this one guy, this guy just jumped off. He did the highest like cliff dive, I think, in history, ended up like shattering like his rib cage or something like that. He jumped off into this pool and everything. You have to have that mentality to actually have the balls to jump off that thing and actually think you're going to survive it. Is insanity. You go, there has to be something wrong with that dude, right? And maybe there is, right? Maybe there is something to that, but you have to be able to override that self-preservation. Well, that's where there's a lot of wiggle room. Right. That's when people say he was damaged. Oh, he was going through some shit. Well, nobody knew because he seemed very normal up to the day of. Right. And then it was every answer in the book that they could come up with, except for the one that was glaring them in the face. His wife was divorcing him to get with another dude. That was it. That was the catalyst. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. He says, you know what? I'm done. I'm out.
They didn't want to talk about that.
I've already made the decision. I don't want to inconvenience anybody. So I'm just going to go do what I'm going to do. You'll find my body later on. Sorry about the cleanup. Oh, here's the dog. Keep him over here. I'm going to make it as convenient as possible for you. But when that happens, and everybody's sensibly, emotionally distraught as a result of that, I get it. But in the aftermath of it, And the same thing is happening here with Lindsay Clancy, right? The aftermath of it, everybody goes, well, maybe it was reptile people from planet Pluto or some shit like that. It's anything in the fucking universe except for the fact that the chick killed her kids.
Mm-hmm.
She did that. Accountability, ladies. Accept the fact that she did what she fucking did. It sucks. I'm not saying it was a good thing. It was a very, very bad thing. But there always has to be something outside yourselves. I will say the same thing to guys who are like, say, it's the Jews, it's this, it's that, it's those people, it's this people, it's something outside of myself. Ladies, you're doing the same fucking thing. It's happened because it's part of your fucking nature. Same thing with hybristophilia. Is every woman a hybristophile? No. But are only women yes, because that's part of the firmware. It's not right, it's not wrong. It's how you express it, I suppose. But the thing is that's part of it. Accept it. But no, we won't do that. The intelligentsia, the academics, everybody wants to avoid the teacherist, epidemic that's been going on for the last 4 years. I have the numbers. Nobody wants to talk. Oh, you know who's talking about it? This guy. That's why I don't get invited on the same podcast that Jim Sexton gets invited on, because I'll start popping off with shit like that. Nobody wants to have me. Rogan won't have me on. None of these guys want to have me on to talk about that kind of stuff. Nobody wants to have me on to talk about hybristophilia. Nobody wants to talk, because why? Because I'm not even being a dick about it. Here's the facts. We don't want to talk. Oh no, Rollo, we don't want to talk about the facts. Don't tell us about that. Women are wonderful. The women are wonderful effect, right?
Here, I'll hit you with the monster.
No, I can't hear it anymore. Women are not wonderful.
Yes. Thank you for the corgi. Okay, wait. There's not 1,000 jewels. You get one of these every time you give me a corgi. Thank you very much. It's time to lighten the mood. Yeah, so here's the thing is, you look at like podcasts, like whatever podcast or Myron or whatever, and like, and to his credit, Myron does this better than anybody else, but like the premise is we're going to hold women accountable. No, you're fucking not. Because even when Lindsay Clancy, women are going to go, it must have been the guy. Mm-hmm. It must have been this. It must have been the drugs. It must have been that. It must have been this. It must have been aliens. It must have been Jews. It must have been this. It must have been that. It's not. She did it. That's it. End of story.
They're just deferring
Game
to
over.
a higher power.
I know it doesn't make you feel good about the sisterhood, but that's what happened with the fucking elastic exercise bands. You know what sucks? What's the guy? Watts. Watts did his entire family pretty brutally and buried him under the oil tower.
You know what's crazy for Chris Watts? While they were talking to him and he was in his home, there was a commercial playing in the background, and it was a commercial about death and oil and all. It's fucking.
And that's what inspired him. And hey, that's a good idea. Oh boy. Jeez, I don't even. Do we dare go there? There's canceled. There goes our monetization right there. Yes, I do have hair. Thank you very much. I can't believe he has hair. I was thinking about dyeing it, but I don't know. People kind of like the white. I had a lot of chicks. Dude, I had Lindsay. I had Electra Barbie. She's like, "Whew, you look good that way." I was like, "Really?" I don't know. What did it say?
Yeah, it was an ad or intro for the American Horror Story playing in the
background. And it was an ad about the oil and
because it's apocalypse.
Jesus.
It's all this like crazy shit.
I know. Sometimes God makes a joke and I'm the only one that gets it. Don't dye it? Okay, I won't dye it. Wow, no beanie. Yeah. Oh wow, imagine that.
We can make I could do a, what is it called? A poll.
Yeah. Okay. Do a poll. What should it be? Here. This is actually me right now. It's the Rogel Dorn effect. That's what I should title this video. So anyways, so the Lindsay Clancy thing, same thing I'm going to tell you about Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson. Same thing I would tell you about any case. Wait till the shit happens. And then the real education comes from watching what happens in the aftermath. Getting back to my story about my brother-in-law. My red pill moment wasn't him actually offing himself. My red pill moment after that, such as it was, was the effect of how women in my family and women who didn't even know who, like personally did not even know who my sister-in-law was, took her side. Anything except for the fact that perhaps what she did was the catalyst. Now, it's still on him. He's still like, same thing with Lindsay Clancy. She did it. Same thing with my brother-in-law. He did it. Okay. I accept that. No problem. I get it. That was a bad decision in my book, but he did that. Okay. But what was the catalyst? What brought him to that point? Right. It was getting zeroed out. It was the choice between rebuilding yourself in a new paradigm, right? Because now you can't go back to the way you used to think beforehand, right? Or you can cease to exist. You can delete yourself. And now if you come to Reignite, come to my program, I'm always about reinvent yourself. That's why we call it Reignite yourself, right? Clever, right? That's why I work with guys 35 to 65 years old. If you're 70, I'll still work. Kiyosaki is older than 70. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons. I hate to make this an ad for Reignite, but I'm going to right now just for a minute because I think it's good. It's helpful it gives context to this whole thing. That's one of the reasons why me and Joe started this group in the first place. It's beautiful too, because I love it. We just went to Babes in Toyland last week and I had Harold and I had Steve-O out there with me. Big shout out to you guys. And you get a named shout out because like these guys they're in there and they're doing the work. They are there, man.
You know, I think I seen Harold like a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say how much he has changed as a person, dude.
Everybody says that too.
Like, wow.
And I'm going to tell you something else. Steve-O, like I met Steve-O almost a year ago, close to a year ago. And when he came into the group, he was right in the middle of his divorce. The divorce is over now. It's finished, right? But when he was going through it, I'm like, how the fuck am I going to help this dude, right? Mm-hmm. And I do that with every dude that comes into the group in the beginning. Like I had this other guy, Chris Hetrick. He's in my group, and he had all these guys have very similar stories, right? I was in a sexless marriage. I was this, I'm trying to rebuild. They're all trying to rebuild themselves from recovering from being zeroed out. If there's a mission statement for Reignite, that's it. We're here to help you rebuild yourself in the aftermath, right? But man, Steve-O, dude, man, I was like, because he's got this accent, he's got this Texas accent, and you know he's overweight, but he lifts, so he's like strong up here, but he's got the he needs to work on that. We'll get that done. But man, chicks were into him.
Hell yeah.
I was shocked because he's really good at like socializing and conversation and stuff like that.
He has the gift again.
And he has that accent too. So like, where are you from? It's like landman. Like he has that kind of landman kind of appeal, right? And he's like, I told him, I said, wait, if chicks ask you what you do, always say you're an industrialist. What's an industrialist? Exactly. Yes. He actually drives for FedEx. I'm just say you're in transport. Right? Yeah. I said, hey, you're a FedEx driver, right? So the employees own parts. You get stock options, right? Do you own any stock? Yes. Technically, you own a transportation company. There you go.
I'm part owner.
Yeah, you win. You just got to find a way to reword it. But anyways, the important part about Clancy, the important part about Watts as well, the important part about my brother-in-law's tragic suicide is watch what happens in the aftermath. And that was the first thing I said when people turned me on to the Clancy case. They're like, what do you think about this, Rollo? Do a show about this. I'm doing your show for you right now. But my first impression was watch what happens. You want a real lesson? Watch what the cope is from the women when she is, in my opinion, from what I can see thus far and running this through Perplexity and through Claude, she ain't gonna beat this. There's no fucking way she beats this rap. If she does, the fix is in. Okay. Did you find out if there's a death penalty in Massachusetts?
There is not.
There is not.
Not
okay,
since
so
1984.
so she's only going away for life here, which is maybe okay. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is if you watch women, because this will teach you more about the nature of women than anything else. Well, don't you think it's pretty fucked up? Yeah, I do. But I can only take that so far. You want an education. You want something to sort of like something you could use for leverage. This is the nature of women. They will find, remember solipsism. They will find some way to not make it about them. They will find some way to find something outside of themselves, right? That's what solipsism is. I'm the only thing that exists in the universe, and things that are out here, they're the NPCs. It's what are they? I love it when they say it's what main character syndrome. That's solipsism right there.
So you're saying I can't be player one?
Yes. Oh, you like to like when I call it solipsism, Rollo. Show me the evidence that there's real solipsism. Well, that's a philosophical, and they get all like lost in the weeds and everything. And then like the next day, I'm hearing like main character syndrome. It's the same thing. You just like to hear it in a different, cutesy Gen Z fucked up way. Right? Okay, fine. You want main character? I'll call it that. It's the same principle. But the fact of the matter is that you want proof of hybristophilia. Got it. You want proof of confirmation of main character syndrome, solipsism. Here, you got that too. You want to see how they're going to deflect anything away from the sisterhood and then try to put it on Patrick Clancy. Got that. That's there too. It must be the guy's fault for gaslighting her. Or now we're going to, I guarantee you this will be the next thing. It's going to be, she had a lot of stress and she was all by herself and she had 3 kids and she was trying her best. And she was, the kid was one of the girls, the older girl. She didn't like to poop at school. And so therefore that's why he had to go get the stool softener at CVS when he was out of the thing, or she told him to go get it. Right. Yeah. So she's dealing with a kid who's, got constipation or some shit like that. So that's hard on her too. But the thing is like when you listen to the testimony of Patrick, he's like, she was just normal. She was like completely, totally normal.
One detail these fucking women harp on TikTok and all these goddamn videos on their bullshit is that he went to call to make sure what brand to buy for the stool softener. And they're like, how incompetent. You don't know what brand or whatever the fuck. You should already know that. I'm like, what the fuck? What?
It's funny is here. Yeah, that's stupid. Okay. But here's the thing is if he hadn't called and he got the wrong one, you get more shit for getting the wrong one than you do for not knowing what the right one is, right? Whatever the fuck it is. There's stool softener. But you need pediatric stool softener. You need which is why he was calling to clarify that stuff. He was trying to be like proactive about the whole fucking thing, according to his testimony that we know, right? Ladies, you don't get this one. This isn't you don't. There's no scenario where you get out of the fact that she choked her kids with fucking elastic bands. You don't get out of that. I'm not. What gets me is this. You know why this is even an issue? Why people are even following this case is because women don't want this to be about the sisterhood. They don't want this to in any way reflect negatively on the sisterhood. And if it looks like there's a national story that's going to paint women in a bad light, they will find some fucked up way to say it's lizard people or it's his fault or there's anything to dodge accountability. And I don't even think the sisterhood is accountable for this. I think she's personally accountable for this. But women think that if one woman is being accused of this, all women are being accused of this. No, ladies, it doesn't work that way. She's an individual who made some bad fucked up choices. Maybe it was because she was on too many drugs or whatever, all prescribed by women, female doctors. But the fact is like she made that decision. That doesn't necessarily have to be some totality statement on womankind, but you're going to think that it is. And you know why? Because this is how women argue. And I know this from years of being on Access Vegas and going on Fresh and Fit and going on whatever podcast and doing. Because when you get into a situation where the man has to be the voice of empiricism and women are the voice of emotionalism, and when women run out of rationality, when they run out of empirical gas in the conversation, they try to reframe the argument to be to put things into emotional language. So now we have to be sympathetic with her. Well, that's emotionality. You're taking away from the empiricism that she committed this crime. Right?
Tangents.
Okay. Yeah, but what about her feelings? Fuck your feelings. God saw it. Thank you very much. No, the kids, you know what the kids are saying right now, wherever they are in heaven or whatever, fuck your feelings. That's what they're saying. Fuck, man. Like just fucking sack up and say she's fucked up. She did something bad. Because when women start talking, like you'll see this all the time. I tune out whenever I hear this. I probably shouldn't, but I do now. When a woman is trying to make a point, like a guy makes, Andrew Wilson makes a cogent point about, here's something about female nature that, well, first of all, they got to try to make it about men at that point. But if they can't do that, they will say, as a woman, I think blah, blah, blah. They'll rattle something on as if they are speaking for all womankind. I'm going to step up here and I'm going to speak for, what was that meme with that guy who's like stands up in church, that one. As a woman, I'm speaking for all womankind now. We didn't do it. He did it. Space aliens did it. The lizard people did it. The drugs made her do it. No, we can't talk about hyperspace. The bad men did this. The system did this. Everything. Female oppression, the patriarchy, blah, 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 blah. Right? No, she made a bad decision. It's okay. Just accept that and fucking move on. It's okay. But no, because when women argue, they always argue on behalf of the sisterhood. It's the sisterhood uber alles, right? That's why they begin those kinds of sentences with "as a woman." Click. As a woman. No, how about this? Your opinion. How about you as an individual? Stop, ladies, stop being a herd animal. Stop being cattle. And don't say, as a woman, here's what I think. So are you talking on behalf of womankind or are you talking on behalf of yourself? Well, clearly you wouldn't have started the sentence if that were the case.
Well, Rillo, as a man.
Like, how many guys are like, as a man? We know you're a dude. We know you have a dick. Okay. You can please just continue with your point, right? That's bitch behavior.
Yeah.
That's what we call that, bitch behavior.
Adding authority to you.
Yeah. I would like, I've been doing this podcast for God knows how long. I've written books about like male nature, female nature. I've heard like, no, they're not lay guides. You're thinking about Roosh, not me. I've been doing this quite some time right now. It would never occur to me to begin a sentence with "as a man." It would not even be a concept in my head because I take personal responsibility for myself. And why wouldn't you? Because men think hierarchically, right? Why do women say "as a woman" and then presume to speak for womankind? Because women are egalitarian. It's a communitarian sense. The psyche is communitarian. Hunter and gatherer, women are the gatherers. That's the egalitarian ideal. Women tend to organize societies in the round, in communities. It takes a village to raise a child, right? That's why socialism and communism and Marxism have all been very appealing to the female mindset because it seems like, oh, you get one. We're going to distribute wealth. If you look at the statistics, I could give them to you right now. I have them here in my folders for my Twitter. Women tend to vote for wealth redistribution legislature far more than men do. When it comes to like college campus stuff, it's very much a much more egalitarian kind of thing that they don't want like college. They don't want certain speakers. They will actively vote against being able to have personal freedoms if it means that the collective is more secure. They will trade liberties for security because that's the way it thinks. That's the way that's the way the collectivist psyche of women work. That's why when women organize societies, it's always egalitarian. It's always in the round. There's no team captaincy. You get one and you get one. And Sally, you're pregnant, so you get two. And you get one and you get one and you get one. For men, it's hierarchical. That's why guys don't go, "as a man." No, because they don't think about things in egalitarian in the round. They think of things, well, here's what I think. Here's my opinion on this. Here's my take on this. Here's the work that I've done. And it's stacked. It's hierarchical. It's a layered way of organizing society. People will say, well, that's patriarchy. Yeah. And it's a much more balanced way of organizing society than clearly where we are right now with women. Organizing society in the round, organizing it in an egalitarian, communitarian way of thinking. Now, sometimes that's necessary, right? But men organize societies differently than women do. And up to this point in Western society, that hierarchy has worked out pretty fucking well, okay? Until now where we're at. And you know why? Because whenever some shit comes down, And it looks, whenever there is any proof, any evidence, any incidents where something empirical would be unflattering to female nature, that's when we have to have the yin and the yang. That's when we have to, well, men do it too, right? Whenever there's anything that would only relate to female, like hybristophilia, wonderful example of that. It's a pretty, from a societal cohesion perspective, hybristophilia is pretty disruptive. Okay. Well, why do women do that? Why do they like thugs? Why are women more attracted to characters that have dark triad personality traits? Why was the Tinder swindler so successful with all of the women that he was with? The guy lied that he was a Mossad agent and his dad was a Hasidic diamond merchant, and that, he had this private plan. We're going to go to Mykonos. We're going to do all this stuff. And it turns out to be just one big, clusterfuck of bullshit, right? But women lying to take out, and in one case, 9 bank, loans to help this guy. Why? Because that's the chick. She wants security. It's part of female nature. No. It's got to be this evil man or the patriarchy or whatever else. No, it was her personal decision. Maybe it wasn't after bank loan 1. By bank loan 9, it was most definitely her personal decision. Okay. And when the facts and the empiricism and when it's right there, it's black and white. I have this thing. I have this jewel right here in my hand. I have this physical manifestation of this thing right here. It's proof. It's undeniable. It's incontrovertible. No, that's like your truth, man. It's not my truth. It's like, well, we got to change the nature of the game. And that's what women are trying to do with Clancy right now. Change the nature of the game. It's like the WNBA, right? Remember when the WNBA first came out, and none of the girls could dunk. It's too tall, too high. So what did the WNBA say? Let's lower the net. Let's lower the net to, was it 2 inches, something like that? I forget what they never did it, right? But the suggestion was that they were going to lower it so that they could do that. The reason why they didn't is because when you lower the net, you fundamentally change the nature of the game. So what did they do? They found tall lesbians who could actually dunk, right? What's that one white chick who's the really good WNBA player that Mike loves so much?
What, Caitlin?
Caitlin Clark, yeah. Caitlin Clark, yeah. Okay, I don't think she can dunk, but that chick can hit it from she's field goal after field goal.
She's hitting threes.
Yeah, I respect. That is one. There is a few female NBA players that are pretty good. But I was going to say is that when you change the nature of the game, that's part of the female psyche. Well, we can't win, so we want everybody to be a winner. We want it's the participation trophy mentality. Everybody gets to be a winner. It doesn't matter. Let's not keep score. We don't have to keep score, right? But we can't dunk. It doesn't matter. Hey, good for you, Caitlin. Right? It's that's where we get the participation trophy mentality, because we want everybody to feel good. But nobody remember in the Incredibles when it was a syndrome, he's like then everybody will be super, and when everybody's super, no one will be. that's the female nature. It's like we want everybody to feel super, but when everybody's super, nobody is super, and no capes. no capes. All right, let me get to some of these comments here.
It might be Sophie Cunningham, the one that he likes.
Is it? What's the one that did this? That's Sophie Cunningham. That's Sophie Cunningham. Yeah. Okay, I get you.
This is her.
Oh, put her on. Yeah. Okay. Didn't she get like bodied or something like that? Oh, she's a piece of ass. That's why they hate her. Put her on. I want that. Yeah, I want that on my podcast. Fuck yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Sophie Cunningham, I will remember your name, darling.
There you go. That's the point.
How can we get her on Access Vegas? She all right? She's all right. She's a Vegas. She looks like she belongs in Vegas. Sophie Cunningham. Yeah, there it is. Go back to the finger. Put that one on. Oh, man. I'm going to use that as a thumbnail. That's too good, man. I remember seeing that. All right, let me get to these. Here we go. Nicholas Cruz files Fly straight and true. Great, thanks. Has more of a work ethic than most betas and gammas. This is about practice makes perfect. Oh man, that's bad. That's so bad. FBI, open up! We're all busted now. Nicholas Cruz. You know, it's when I remember when Nicholas Cruz happened and that shooting happened, and I was actually on Pat Campbell's show, and we talked about that, and I'm like, he's only doing what he was trained to do, he's conditioned to do. Yep. He's expressing himself emotionally with a high-powered rifle. Ladies, he's doing exactly what you wanted men to do, express themselves. Rollo. Hi, Rollo. Hi. Any advice for a widower, male, 34? Let's do the Deloney thing. With combat PTSD. Oh boy. Yeah, see a professional. don't look for help on podcasts. That's my best advice to you. My wife passed away 1 year ago, and I'm now trying dating in New York City. God, wait there. Get out of New York City. But it is hard with panic attacks, etc. in crowded places. Focusing on making friends first. Yes, meds don't help. Okay. It depends on the meds. I don't know what they got you on. Again, I'm not a clinical psychologist, and I am not a psychiatrist either, so I cannot tell you what meds should or shouldn't be in your bloodstream. So just with that in mind, I think the best thing you can do is like get your head straight first. PTSD is nothing to fucking laugh at. If you feel like you are having, self-deletion ideation, definitely get help, and not from me, from somebody who knows what they're talking about. That said, if you're looking for if you want me to give you some sort of like direction here, New York City is not where I would suggest you be, considering the volume of people that are there with PTSD. So you might want to remove yourself to a lower population state or some sort of city, right? I don't know what your work situation happens to be. I don't know what your particular goals are. I would need to sit down with you and talk to you a little bit more, which, by the way, if you want to talk to me, you can all my contact information is down below the fold. You'll have to click, more in the description, but you can get in touch with me anytime, anyway. I am available, by the way, by email, by WhatsApp, by Signal, by Twitter, by Instagram. What's the other ones? I'm trying to think of the Cash App. I'm trying to think of all the social media I'm supposed to be active on all the time. But I'm probably the most accessible dude in the manosphere. So if you need help or you want to if you just want to shoot the shit, just email me and we'll set something up. And then we'll get you squared away. It's kind of out of the scope of doing this on a podcast, but my first impression is get out of New York City if you can, just simply because of the high concentration of people there. I'm going to make a lot of enemies by saying this, but I don't think the chicks in New York City are anywhere near comparable to Miami. I don't know what your goals are, because your wife just passed away as well, so you're probably reeling from that too. So maybe don't even think about that kind of stuff just yet. Get yourself straight. And then I would say, find some place that's a little quieter. Seems like that would be the best bet for me. But if you want to talk, please just email me and let me know, and I'll be happy to. I'd free of charge. I'll be happy to talk to you. So, thank you for this $20 for I don't know what. Dude, you look like a Vietnam veteran, dude. Or else it's what is it? What's the guy from Tropic Thunder?
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, never go full retard. 250 joules. Thank you. It's jewelry time. Is cuckoldry a practice and moral equivalent to what's that icon? I can't see it.
It's a grape.
Grape? Oh, okay. Yeah. Is cuckoldry and practical and moral equivalent to grape? You mean on the part of the chick? I don't know, because usually in I wouldn't say the practical part. I don't know. I think it's kind of depends on the context of what the cuckoldry is, right? You got to remember that there's two kinds of cuckoldry. There's proactive and reactive, or proactive and retroactive per se. Like I've said before, and one of these days, Andrew Wilson and I are going to have this conversation. But retroactive cuckoldry is she's got 3 kids from 2 baby daddies, and you signed up to be the guy who stepped up, right? And you signed up to be the stepdaddy. You decided to marry Brittany Renner. lucky you. So anyways, that's what I would call retroactive cuckoldry, because you're signing up. It's elective cuckoldry, I guess, because people go, well, but I'm not letting her fuck another guy. No, that's not what I mean. The end result of cuckoldry, like definitionally, is you eventually take care of the offspring. You are parentally invested in children that are not biologically yours. That's why guys lose their shit when they find out, they discover that at 70, right? I think I talked about this. It's in the Selfish Gene. It's in Selfish Gene, Richard Dawkins. Yeah. Selfish Gene. And there's the biological perspective of genetics, or the biological perspective of reproduction, which postulates this, that all organisms, from trees, plants, from bacteria to human beings to dolphins to elephants, the organism itself is just a vehicle to propagate the DNA, because your DNA is the only thing that you will leave behind after you die, assuming you reproduce, right? And assuming you're not an incel, you're a chin cell. Chin cells don't reproduce. Chin cells don't fuck. Chin cells get no hoes, man. Here.
I'm like, man, bro, that's why I don't get no hoes, man.
Chin cell, that's why. But that's the, I'm not saying I necessarily agree with this, but maybe I do a little bit, kind of. That organisms are, I'm not saying that's all we are, but we are definitely vehicles for our DNA, right? You want to know why guys lose their shit when they find out that the kids aren't theirs? Because they have taken a lifetime of investment, that putting that parental investment, that money, that time, that love, that emotional investment, that educational investment, the personal investment, whatever it is, into kids that are not biologically theirs, by means of deception on a part of the person who they trusted most in their life, right? And that is the other form of cuckoldry, which is the proactive form of cuckoldry. And this is what gets, like, anytime I hear Matt, and I love you, Mac and Murphy, but I have a different take for your whole take on cuckoldry. There's a school of thought. There's guys who want to say that, like, cuckoldry is very rare, right? It only happens like 3% of the time, or at most 10% of the time, which, if you go worldwide, maybe 10 reported. But when a guy suspects that the kids aren't his and he goes in to get a DNA test, then it jumps up to 20, 25, 30%, right? Well, yeah, because you already thought there's a bias for the guy who's going and doing the cheek swab and everything else. And lo and behold, 30% of the time, he was correct. His gut instinct was right. But I think that as we have more technology, I personally think all live births should be tested DNA for the mom and for the dad, to make sure that dad is who who he is, right? Can be held responsible for it. There was a legislature in Utah, and it was about like 3 or 4 years ago, and I don't know if it ever passed. I don't think it passed, but there was this legislature that they were trying to pass in Utah, where if a woman became pregnant, that the father was to be held responsible for at least for half of the prenatal, like, care, like if they had got an ultrasound or something like that, or if there's, like, whatever it was, the health care that she needed prior to having the baby, that he was on the hook for paying for at least half of it, right? And I thought about that and I go, okay, with one stipulation, that there's a DNA test, a mandatory DNA test, once the baby is born, to determine if he is in fact the biological father. At that point, that guy can either electively say, okay, I'll be the father, or he can say, fuck this, I'm out. Give me my half of my money back again, bitch. Because that ain't my kid. You were fucking around with somebody else, right? Never going to happen. Rolo's trying to pass legislation. No, I'm not. I'm suggesting it, but I know it'll never happen. If the doctor can't tell you that you're not the father, actually, do you think that that's going to happen? No, it's not. So, but yeah, so do I think that it's the practical equivalent to grape? No, because it can be. You mean like I don't know how you could like practically equate that with grape. I would like to know what your thought process is. Is it the moral equivalent of grape? Well, now we're getting into splitting hairs. Now it's contextual. I don't know whose morals. Mine, yours.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't ask me mine. Yours. See, the thing is, when everybody says, "Is this the moral equivalent?" Like when you start talking about morals, I'm not saying they're not important. They are absolutely. Virtue, all that great stuff that you see on the Mighty Men of Manhood sites. I get why it's appealing, right? But I'm much more of a pragmatist. I'm much more of a practical guy, right? I'm the rational man. Because like you get into ambiguity, like whose morals are we using? Like who gets to decide what is and what isn't, right? Is there a moral aspect or immoral, amoral, whatever aspect to grape? Absolutely, there is. But it's as a result of the practical applications or the mechanics of grape as it is. I understand why it's immoral. I understand why it's a violation of a woman. I totally understand that. But I also understand the mechanics of it too. So if I talk about the mechanics, then I must be an apologist. I must be endorsing it, right? Yes. Because I'm an oncologist, so I must be endorsing cancer. Right? No, I'm not. Good question, though. I think I need a little bit more to that one. Corgi. Steve-O. This is Steve-O. If your woman is looking at you in a strange way, she's probably planning your exit. Get out. Again, what's the strange way? Do we really? It's funny. I was listening to this. I was listening to this pastor this morning. He was talking about like, people can't really know each other's hearts, which really amounts to read each other's minds. And I'm like, well, how long have you been married? Because I can complete my wife's sentences sometimes, right? There's by the way, there's a difference between like we get this sometimes in the red pill, right? We're talking about what Rollo, am I supposed to read a woman's mind? No, but you're supposed to be perceptive enough to like figure out if she's like pissed off at you or hungry or hangry or whatever. You need to be able to read like body language and everything else. I mean, there is certain things that you're not necessarily a mind reader, but you can. Okay. There's a difference between reading minds and understanding patterns, right? Patterns lead to predictive frameworks, right? So can you create a predictive framework from constant patterns? Absolutely. We do it all the time. I'm doing it right now, right? That doesn't mean you're reading minds, but whatever, so if she's looking at you in a strange way, I don't know. My wife looks at me in a strange way. It's time to go upstairs. Jeopardy question. Okay. I'll take a Jeopardy red pill for $800. An alpha widow who loses her alpha to an assassination bullet in Utah. Thank you. Here we go. What was that Jim Carrey meme? Here we go. Okay, here we go. And realizes she's stuck with her beta bucks for eternity. Who is Candace Owens? Loses her alpha to an assassination bullet in Utah. Realizes that she's stuck with her beta bucks for eternity. Who is Candace Owens? I presume you're taking a dig at Erica Kirk. I've already talked about Erica Kirk on here several times, where I still take digs at Charlie Kirk now and then too. I don't think that's necessarily off limits. I think we're kind of like lionizing Charlie certainly as a martyr right now. He basically was killed for saying the things that he said, right? Which in some sense actually does, I think, make him a martyr. Sorry. That's my bonehead take on it. I'm not saying I agree with everything he said. In fact, one of the things, and I didn't say this during the, when I was doing the breakdown with Mike a day ago, one thing I didn't really get out of my mouth was I used to know Charlie. I had exchanges with him on Twitter. I think I might still have them. I've got DMs in Twitter where I used to talk to Charlie back in the day before he was Charlie Kirk, right? People don't understand that like Twitter has a backlog, right, of a lot of stuff. You know how I know Candace Owens used to call herself Red Pill Black because I was right there. I'm like, why is she calling herself Red Pill Black? I thought it was cool at the time. Then she turned into Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk, as I've said before on this show and other shows, I probably agree with about 90% of what he says. The 10% I don't has to do with intersexual dynamics and him being a Pollyanna, naive idiot when it comes to women. One of those women happened to be Erica Kirk, right? And I can't believe you're attacking Erica. Well, she had boyfriends before Charlie. Charlie has this very sort of like, white knight. Well, he had this very white knight kind of like, if you're just persistent and you open the car door for her and everything, well, you just pray real hard and the girl will just end up on your doorstep. It's like, dude, what are you doing? And those are some of the conversations that I had with Charlie back in the day. Now, he probably wouldn't know me from Adam if I went up to him and talked to him like before his assassination. But those were the conversations we had way back in 2017, I think. Milo Yiannopoulos. I know Milo Yiannopoulos too. It's funny. I was like, was it Sean Kelly has this list of all the people he wants to get on the show, and Milo was on there, and I'm like, oh man,
that's gonna be great.
Challenge accepted. But I used to have Twitter exchanges with Milo Yiannopoulos back in the day when he was a writer for Breitbart. When he wasn't Milo. He was Milo Yiannopoulos. He wrote this very interesting piece for Breitbart about Roosh at one point. But if he was ever wanting to get like red pill perspectives and stuff like that, he would just DM me and say, hey, what do you guys think about this? I'd be like, okay, here, that's what I think. And then he might use it, he might not. But then he started, then the 2016 election cycle rolled around. He started hanging out with the likes of what's her name? Ann Coulter. That was the beginning of the end, man. I remember Tim Pool. When he would run around Berkeley with a GoPro on top of his a helmet, like a bike helmet. And he'd put a GoPro, have it on his chest or something, and he'd have another one where he's doing these. It wasn't even. I don't even think it was live. Maybe it was live. But he'd go around Milo and Ann Coulter would say, "We're going to go do a talk at Cal State Berkeley," and all of Berkeley would just erupt in riots and be throwing burning trash cans at each other. They didn't even know why they were pissed off. They were just pissed off, right? And here's Tim Pool with a GoPro. Hey, what do you think about this and everything? That's the Tim Pool I used to know. But I never knew him in Occupy Wall Street because that was before my time. But I did know him when he was at Berkeley and he was pulling that shit because I was entertained by that. I know Jeremy from The Quartering when he actually had the reason why he called his channel The Quartering is because he was opening Magic the Gathering cards pretty much daily. That was his whole thing. And then he became Jeremy, of The Quartering, who does political commentary now, which I can imagine is probably more lucrative than Magic the Gathering. But people don't know I have a very broad backfield of people that I've known in the past. Do you guys remember? It was as recent as 2023. This lesser known divorce attorney by the name of Jim Sexton came on my show Rule Zero in September, I think, of 2023, along with another, lesser known influencer by the name of Andrew Wilson, who was on there with me and Mike and Ryan Stone. I still have the episode if you'd like to see it. Those two guys, those big, behemoths of influence today, they were on my show back in the day, my humble little Rule Zero show. People, it's funny, the people who have gone on to bigger and better things ever since Rolo, how come you're not bigger and better? Because I don't know. I'm a kingmaker, but I can't make myself the king. I don't know how. Oh, I do see talent when I know talent when I see it, though. I'm good at talent acquisition. Another corgi. And Ryan, Rolo, and Royce are right forever. Ever and ever.
Oh, those guys are back.
Yes, we are. We are correct forever. Yep. I put on a hell of a show. Thank you. I try. I do my best. Gosh, let's look at some of these in here. Is people giving me shit about anything? I don't know. Wait a minute. I got I put these on here for a goddamn reason. Okay, well, we already saw this, right, with the diazepam. I wonder what is lorazepam is a antidepressant, right? I think that's like Zoloft or something. Pretty sure.
They're all mostly benzos.
Okay, I have to give Coral Osborne some shit here today too, because it wouldn't be a show if I didn't. Coral's supposed to come into Vegas. Coral, is it going to be the end of this month? Quick announcements. We might as well jump into those really quickly. We have Access Vegas coming up this Wednesday, which should be a hell of a show because it's we're in between bikini contests. We are lousy with bikini contests this year. And Maya, my favorite, as you know, Maya Allegra, won the bikini contest for the Swimsuit USA bikini contest that was at Swim Week at Babes in Toyland. When we were in Babes in Toyland, I was just like, oh, bravo. And then she came in second at the last one we just had on, was it Thursday or Friday? And so she's sweeping. She's clearly going to go to the Swimsuit USA is going to be the Dominican Republic this year. Mm-hmm. So she's going to, an all expense trip to the Dominican Republic. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. It is if you're new, Nuclear Claudio. People don't know that I know this, and I told you this already. God, I don't know what to do with this. You know what? Help me out here, people. Help me, chat. You got to help me. You know what I'm going to say. Here, okay. Shit, I should look up the other guests. So we have this little show here in Las Vegas. It's called the Digital Social Hour with Sean Kelly. And I don't know if the show has dropped yet, but Mike almost got in a fight in the last one. Sean Kelly has decided to change up his format quite a bit, and he's trying to follow the Jubilee format, right? Yeah. It's the 20 on 1. Like, you remember the Mark Manson thing, where it's that whole thing. And so Sean's trying to do this at Origin Studios, and Origin Studios was not built for this kind of show. I'm going to tell you right now, it's great for Access Vegas. It is kind of lousy for 10, 20 on 1 shots right now. How do I know this? Because I was on one with Gary, the numbers guy, who was very complimentary. I thank you, Gary, for the love and support you gave me during that. Numerology is still bullshit. So on that show tomorrow, I want to say about noon, Pearl Davis will be recording, and it's going to be Pearl versus 10 feminists. I think that's how it was built. 20 feminists, which really means for Sean Kelly's show, it means Pearl plus whoever he can scoop up off the street, because they might not be feminists. I don't know. What's funny is, like, Sean has no problem actually getting big names on the show. He has more problems getting people to debate those big names on the show. So he'll hit me up occasionally. I am not going to be on it, as you might guess, but she'll be here. Oh, I know. And then Tuesday, who do you think's going to be on? Well, we're gonna flip the script. It's going to be not so erudite. Kyla will be in on Tuesday, and it'll be her versus, I don't know, 10 anti-feminists. I guess I don't know. I don't know how they pull that off, but like, 2 of my most hated nemesises are in Las Vegas, and I'm like, do I go down to the studio? Do I go down and raise holy fucking hell? And let me tell you something, ladies, you are lucky I don't drink anymore. You are fortunate that I don't. I am a man of God. I do not drink anymore. Yes, haram. So that's going on in Las Vegas tomorrow. And people think that I don't know that. And I do know that because I have moles. I have moles in the net, little moles in the network. Yes, I know. Sean's actually a really good friend of mine. So, okay, let me restate that. I'm a really good friend of Sean's because whenever he needs a ringer, he brings me onto the show. But sometimes I get a good one, like with Rashad McCants, who's now a good friend. So it's not all bad. But yes, so put a 1 in the chat if you think I should go down to the.
I'll make a poll for it.
Make a poll for it. You think I should go to the studio tomorrow? It's at noon. I think Mike has been beating around the bush. He's like, yeah, I'm going to do a debate or something this week. I can't tell you who just yet. I'm like, bitch, do you think I don't have access to the fucking roster at Origin? I do. I know who you're going to talk to. Coral, there's Coral. Coral Osborne has decided to.
There we go.
Oh. Cool. Okay, we'll let that go. Oh, well. Okay, who had Michael Sartain for, what time was it? 350? How many times? What's the timestamp? Timestamp 240. If you had 240 for Michael Sartain, you're the winner. He just decided to respond to something in my text, but he always chimes in every time I'm doing a show for some reason. Should I? Yes, 100%. Like, you're not going to say no. Like, well, let's start some shit. Even if you love me and you want to say no, you're still going to say yes. Yes. What is, guys? You got no Beanie Rolo before GTA 6. Yes, you're welcome. There you go. Hey, they're working on Space Marine 3 right now too.
Crazy.
Yeah. In case you were wondering, yes, I will be at the LVO, the Las Vegas Open, which is the largest, it's a gaming convention, and it's primarily Warhammer 40,000, but Las Vegas Open, baby. There you go. Open. That's all you need. Put it on. There you go. That's it.
Click images so I can show this.
Yeah. Oh, yes. There you go. It is one of, if not the largest gaming convention, certainly on this coast anyways.
But yeah, that's sick.
There you go. So we should do a 40K stream.
Dude, that'd be dope.
I'm thinking we should do that. There you go.
That's awesome.
Okay, wait, stop. Look count how many black shirts you see. So I've said this once or twice on the show before. I'm a black shirt. Okay, that's what people will call me at a convention, because the guys who are like serious gamers, for whatever reason, they always wear black shirts at tournaments. And they tend to be older dudes, and they always wear black shirts. So I am black shirt.
We're in the 40s.
Yes. Yes, I know. We're in the 40s. 67% yes. 2% no. 33% no. Yeah, they're like, no, don't go talk shit. Let's see. I'm 36, single, no kids, dating a 34-year-old single mom. Why? I love her, but judge her past high body count. Thus the kids. And tattoos. Why? Struggled to accept her child. Okay, there's why. Since I wanted a family from scratch, what should I do? Stop dating single mothers. What should I do? There you go.
If it's not what you want, man.
If it's not what you want, if it's a single mom,
you have the power.
You have the power. You may leave, sir. Yes.
Good day, sir.
Yeah, that's what should you do? Get out. Let's not be too flippant here. He did give us $10. Why would you? Okay, so high body count. You're still there. You don't judge her that hard.
Yeah.
Does she suck a good dick? Okay. And her tattoos. Now, this is the one that, okay. I just got done on Thursday of last week at Babes in Toyland and saw some of the most beautiful women on planet Earth. Now, some of them had no tattoos. Would you like me to show you mine? I'll get in trouble if I show you mine. No tattoos whatsoever. Amaya Allegra. Now you know why I'm in love with her. But it's not the tattoos. I love her for a lot of different reasons. She could have tattoos. She could have a full sleeve, and I'd probably still be into her. But my wife has one tattoo. Yes.
No.
And no, it's not on her cooter or her ass. It's actually around her ankle. She's got a little, it's like Hawaiian flowers and hibiscus shit like that. Like she got when she was like 19 or 20. Okay. I have one tattoo. This is my coat of arms for my real last name. It's not Thomas. But I don't, dude, I grew up in like the Hollywood metal scene in the late 80s and early 90s. Do I look like a kind of guy who gives two fly fucks about a sleeve of tattoos on a chick? No, I don't. Well, they're more promiscuous. Yeah, that's kind of the point.
Bro, I can't bring her back home to
Play
mom and
ball. Yes. Okay. Now, if she's like 10, 15, 20, God forbid, 20 pounds overweight, and she's got a Bart Simpson tattoo on her thigh, and you met her at Walmart, then yeah, I judge that. Okay. Quite honestly, I think tattoos should have a purpose. If you're going to put some image on your body that's permanent, there needs I will never not be this. Okay. So that's why I got it put on there. And I got it put on 2 weeks before my daughter was born. Okay. There's been times in my life where I have like said, you know what? I think I really need to, here's what I'm going to do. I promise you this. Okay. It makes me sad to think this, but whenever Ned passes, I will get a Greyhound tattoo. I will get a Greyhound because he'd probably be the last Greyhound that I get. So I will definitely get a Greyhound tattoo once he passes. So there is that. And it will probably look like that Celtic one that I have on the guitar, or the lute that I have too, that was custom made for me by old Ragnar back in Arkansas. But he's my Viking Norse high priest shaman. But he knows all that shit. So I'll probably do that. I have no problem with tattoos whatsoever. I think that should mean something though. I don't think you should put Bart Simpson on the side of your thigh. You can tell white trash when you see that on there. Like, you people of Walmart. You remember that? Remember the people of Walmart? Yeah. Okay. If you have tattoos and it looks like you belong on people of Walmart, then yes, judge the tattoos. Otherwise, what about a tramp stamp? Yeah, right on. Was it Chris Rock who said, like, if you see a woman and she has a tongue piercing, she will probably suck your dick. If you see a man and he has a tongue piercing, he also will probably suck your dick. Yes. I would love to get that. Anyways, so my question to you is, like, what's the big deal? I want one that's pure. Okay, good segue into what I'm going to talk about next here, but hold that thought. Okay, the easy answer is then leave. If you have a problem with it, then leave. If it's not working for you, then leave. You know, here's the solution. Fuck other chicks. Date other women. How about that?
Yeah, I want to hear his rationalization.
Go out and do something else. You can do something else. It's okay. She's not the only chick in the world. Most of the guys, like, here's the thing is, like, guys who've told me that they have like a fetish for chicks. I like chicks who got a little more meat on them. No, they're easier to fuck. Fat girls are easier. Seriously. They're motivated buyers. You don't have a fat fetish. They're just easy to fuck, man. Nobody's ugly after 2 a.m. Yeah, that's you. Or I like older women. I like cougars. Yeah, because they're easier. I did too when I was 22. I was with the chick who was a manager of our band. She was 41 and I was 22. She's the girl that had remember the condo story where I said that the condo was longer than it was? That's the girl. I was with the girl who was
mystery door.
She was fun. It was a lot of fucking fun. Was I going to marry her? Fuck no. And did she know that I wasn't going to marry her? Yes. But man, it was fun for that. She used to say, "This is for now." And I'm like, yes, it is. And it was fun. It was good for about 8 months and we were done. Yeah. Right? But never did I say, I prefer older who are 20 plus years older than my age. That never came out of my mouth.
We have a cousin in Mexico that I guess exclusively dates older women. And like, I think he got married to one that's like 40, like I think she's like about almost 20, 30 years older than
Okay.
And everyone in our family is like, what the fuck? Because we're just asking, like, why?
Is it a sugaring thing, or is it just like he's just down with it? Is she hot? Is she good looking? Is she fun?
That eyeglass scene? Nah.
Okay. Like, here's the thing: is I'm not gonna judge you for wanting to get with an older chick. That's fine. But like, the thing is there has to be an upside.
Yeah, exactly.
Is the upside good? Because young chicks are hotter, younger, tighter is something pretty nice, right? Let's see. What you should do is just get out. That's what you should do. But I'm going to hold this. I'm going to hold on to that this super chat for half a second here because it's a nice segue into something else I kind of wanted to get into before we kill this stream. Appreciate it, man. I'll reach out. Okay, yeah, thank you. You're the PTSD guy. I can't really live in New York City. Of course, nobody ever can, right? As I'm the landlord of 2 apartment buildings. Oh, well, good. My friend gave me your book. God bless. Okay, good. Well, thank you. I hope it benefits you. The other thing is, okay, so if that's the case, like maybe you still try to find someplace that's a little more peaceful. Like I've known several people with PTSD, and the first thing they say is they need to get away from the chaos, right? So okay, so fine, go to upstate New York. I don't know. Find vacation in Catalina Island, and you will find peace because that's my home. That's my happy place. But good for you, man. There it is. Joke's on you, Trollo. Ned is immortal. Yes, he probably is immortal. Yes, Ned has power. Yes. Ned is by the way, Ned is in very good shape. There's nothing wrong with Ned. He's absolutely fine. He's perfect. He was runner. You know, it's funny. All you have to do. Oh, that's a corgi. Hold on. There is a corgi. Oh, that's a goat trophy. Sorry. Well, give me a corgi. You get one of those. You will change the nature of a dog just by trimming the nails of that dog.
Yep.
Especially greyhounds, because whenever his nails get a little too long, you know, you could sort of tell his gait's a little bit different when he's walking and stuff like that. Take him down, get him cut. He's a puppy.
Zooming.
Like the day of, he's a puppy. I'm like, damn, man, that's all it takes is a nail trim. Boom. Completely different dog.
Zero dynamic.
Watch your dog's nails. Learn to do them yourself if you can. Like you gotta be careful though, because if they have black nails, forget it. No, you leave that to the professionals.
With my Great Pyrenees, it's always rough.
Yes, I know they have these ones where it's like there's an ultraviolet like light, so you can see the wick, and you can do that. I want to get one of those, but yeah. Cut your damn dog's nails, man. They will thank you for it, man. Yes, in many different ways. Okay, last thing I wanted to do here is, and this kind of was I really liked this, and I felt like I have to put this on the show today because it kind of got to a conversation I was having with Coral recently. But I wanted to put this on there because my good friend Archwinger did a really just fantastic. Where did it go? Did a really great essay, and let's see if I can find it. It's on Substack. It's Archwinger Substack. I'll get the URL and I'll put it in the chat here in just a second. Let's see, where did it go? Oh, wait, I know where I can get it. Hang on. Because I gave this to so many people when I first read this. And Coral was one of them. Where did it go? There she is. Okay. Yes, I have Coral Osborne in my text right now. There it is. Okay, here we go. This is Archwinger's Substack. The title of it is you learn to have better relationships by dating, not by vetting. This is the thing that gets me all the time. It's like, and this is, I lay this at the feet of tradcons, okay? Because tradcons are really they got a hard on for vetting, right? So because people go, what do you mean? What are you talking about? You need to vet a woman, right? Rollo's telling you not to vet. No, I'm telling you, you need to date. And I 100% get behind this Substack post here, the sentiment behind it. But I am going to, before I do that, I am going to post this in the chat so you guys will have it. There you go. If you don't follow Archwinger, you damn well should. He's a fantastic writer, and you're just about to find out why. Here we go. Okay, you learn by, okay. Rumor has it that there was once this idyllic time known as the 1950s. According to the internet kids born in 2002, this was the golden age of humanity where everyone was sexually conservative, dutiful, monogamous, and men and women respected each other. Back then, the economy was amazing. Once Billy graduated from school, which was probably a male-focused establishment with 6 hours of recess, 2 hours of auto shop, and all-male teachers to cater to how boys learn best, he could get a job at his local mechanic, make enough money to buy a house, and marry his high school sweetheart. They would then live in an idyllic little life in their small town, okay? And practically everyone waited until marriage to lose their virginity, since practically everyone was getting married at 18, 19 tops. And the divorce rate was tiny and only happened in the rare cases of drunk abusers. In other cases, wives were super grateful to have their hardworking husbands supporting their families. Being an average guy with an average job was recognized as something that was hard work, worthy of respect, admiration, and a house, a wife, and kids. I'm not sure the above is completely accurate, but it seems to be what most people think about this amazing bygone era. Today, everything is ruined because the economy sucks. Most people get married at 18 or 19, who get married at 18 or 19 are poor people living in not so idyllic lives. If you want a real grown-up job that pays real grown-up money, most of those jobs require you to be in school or working your way up some kind of job ladder until you're practically 30 years old. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And that real grown-up money still isn't enough to buy a house and start a family. If you want a house, your wife also needs to work a real grown-up job after being in school until she's practically 30. On top of this, kind of related to it, actually, the standard healthcare practice for most girls starting puberty is their mom have their doctor prescribe oral contraceptives. Nice. The stated reason for doing this is the hormones help control acne and facilitate a more regulated menstrual cycle with reduced symptoms, but the wink, wink, nod, nod, nudge, nudge reason are just in case. You never know, and she'll be ready when the time comes. I mean, much later, of course. This all leads to the big picture situation where most women in their 20s can't afford a house and kids. None of the men in the dating range can afford a house and kids, and they're on the pill. So they can have sex without worrying too much about the costs or shame associated with a premarital pregnancy, and they're on an education career path to get jobs that make money that's going to take them until they're darn near 30. All of that are also that maybe in combination with a husband who's done the same, they might actually get to afford a house and kids one day. Okay? It's not realistic to expect human beings who are biologically wired and driven to procreate pretty much as soon as they hit puberty starts to refrain from sex until they're practically 30, finally finishing school or a career, climb and getting real jobs, and finally starting to settle into a position where marriage and family might just barely be affordable. Barely, if they're lucky. Humans are going to have sex as much as they can get away with long before the heavily delayed marriage. We can wag fingers and call them moral degenerates, but they're doing what human beings are literally wired to do. That 1950s morality made a lot more sense in the 1950s than it does today. As a result, all of this, colleges are pretty much casual sex training camps. 18 to 22-year-old children are sent into an isolated universe. College campuses are practically self-contained towns nowadays with thousands of other people of the same age. All of them have pretty much no actual responsibilities except vaguely making some efforts to try to pass school. I sound like Aaron Clary. There are countless parties and other types of gatherings, access to alcohol and other inhibitory substances, Molly, pretty much zero supervision since these kids are technically legal adults, and as I just mentioned, pretty much no responsibility or accountability. So colleges have turned into places where people learn how to have hookups, which becomes a useful acquired skill that gets a lot of use throughout their 20s. Because as noted above, nobody's going until they're darn near 30 without sex. Okay. People spend their 20s, whether in graduate school or starting their first jobs as young professionals, continuing to have recreational sex. Dating apps are primarily used to find sex partners. The occasional one maybe turning into a relationship that lasts a few months, but not most. Young adults, quote unquote, young adults and young professionals, branches of professional, hobbyist, and religious organizations is code for singles. You go to the youth group, is for singles, right? Modern dating is primarily hooking up, and maybe once in a while you like someone enough to do that for a little while longer. So in modern times, finding a quote unquote good woman, which most internet men use to mean sexually conservative, grateful, respectful woman who has who's happy just to have an average man with an average job, like I think must have existed in the 1950s, is pretty darn unlikely. That's just not where the world is at right now. Not socially, especially not economically. Everything, I mean everything, is downstream from the economy, which is probably a topic for another essay. This leaves men with three choices, generally speaking. 1, date promiscuous modern women. Okay. 2, date nobody. 3, hold out for the mythical rare edge case of a good woman, either while dating other women or dating nobody. So you're really just doing number 1 or number 2, but complaining which is annoying. Okay. Doing number 1 above, doing 1 above makes many men insecure because a promiscuous woman has had a significant amount of previous sex. Most of it is casual, some of it in the pursuit of something more serious that never panned out, some of it in the context of a more serious relationship, but most of it is casual. Okay. And in most cases, more sex than men. Not because men suck necessarily. It's just that it's really easy for women to scratch the itch anytime they want to have sex, because finding a guy who will say yes to recreational sex or even a date or a relationship is pretty non-challenging. Finding an awesome guy who will say yes is harder. But if it's a while since a woman's gotten laid and she's horny, she can fudge a bit on what counts as acceptable. Insecure is a loaded, quote unquote, insecure is a loaded word. I don't mean that men are afraid they suck in bed or don't measure up as men or as humans and can't abide by being with a woman who's had a lot of men and will recognize their shortcomings. It's more that when a woman knows how easy it is to meet the next man, it's hard to ever accept that you, as an individual man, could ever truly be special to that woman. That's a good observation, by the way. It's not insecurity per se, more like humility. Recognizing that we're just regular dudes and not the most awesome man on earth, and probably not the most awesome man this particular promiscuous woman we're staring at right now is ever going to meet over her entire lifetime. This isn't some crippling lack of self-esteem. It's just basic humility. Women do not understand basic humility. That's a good point. It looks like insecurity to them. Thinking you're awesome when you're not, bordering on narcissism, is considered regular self-esteem for girls. I'm going to pause here really quick because this reminds me of all of the times that Brian from whatever podcast asked the girls around the table to rate themselves. And what is the most common number that they rate themselves? 10. You're a 10. I'm a 10. Even Gorlock the Destroyer, I remember, rated itself as a 10. Okay. I don't know if that's a guy or a girl. Somebody's going to tell me. Somebody in the chat knows. You fucking know. You fucking degenerates. But that's the cult, or what is it? Confidence culture, right? You always should say you're a 10. And I'll tell you the funny thing is when we ask the girls on Access Vegas that same question, most of them say I'm a 7. I'm a 7. I'm an 8, somewhere around there. Because I think the hotter you are and the more concentrated there is of hot women in your particular area, I think that makes you more, if not it's not humility so much, but it's certainly being more realistic. I can remember we have like whenever it's January, we have the same conversation, because January is when they do the tryouts for bottle girls and for like pool girls and stuff like that for Cirque and the rest of these places. And these girls are like, oh, I'm going to go try out. Me and Mike are like, just don't. Don't, because there is this very, very high bar that is set for the physical fitness of those chicks. They have to be the elite of the elite level, like hotness. Okay. So it's tough for us to go, you're probably wasting your time. Right. And the reason why we even hesitate is because we know that girl wants to feel like she's a 10. Right. Look, babe, I think you on any podcast, you are a fucking 8 or a 9. You go and try out for Bottle Girl at Tao Beach Club. You're not going to make it.
They walk out.
Yes. But I like that observation. Okay, let me continue. But we have the women, we have, not the women that we wish we had from the 1950s who didn't actually exist exactly, but that's a discussion for another day. So if you don't date the women you have, you date nobody. That's option number 2. Or hold out for some rare edge case good woman and hope you manage both to correctly identify her and win her over with your hard work, chaste respect, and honor, which is about as sexy as it sounds. The divorce rate is 50% for marriages. There are a lot of statistics and asterisks there. I'm not interested in deep diving into the nuances or the data. Let's just go with it. If we take society as a gigantic whole and ignore the nuances for now and spitball the very, very general odds, it's about 50%. This petrifies men, understandably so, because when a woman divorces you, she gets your house, your children, 60% of your accumulated wealth, your children, and a huge recurring chunk of all future wealth you earn. And did I mention your children? In an effort to reduce this horrible outcome, internet men have come up with what they believe to be a solution. Vetting. Okay? The belief is that if men steadfastly refuse to date modern women on account of these women having had casual sex before and now knowing how easy it is to replace men and embrace hedonistic lives before or where their social urges are constantly met, and if these men vet for a perfect list of characteristics like women of a certain age, sexual history, certain family life and relationships with her parents, certain education level, certain friends, and so on, then this woman they carefully vet for over the course of many, many, many dates to ensure that she's not misleading them will be a good candidate or a good wife and not a bad promiscuous modern woman who has been ruined by exposure to casual sex. Also their odds of divorce go down like what? 40 to 45%. So there's your vetting right there. Those relationships don't typically pan out. Women are still women. Even when carefully vetted, women don't even when a carefully vetted woman doesn't cheat, divorce, or behave too badly, most modern marriages aren't filled with the endless love, sex, and respect. They just like most other relationships for the most part. A woman who's had a little less sex is still a woman. Complicating the issue, a lot of internet men get really bent out of shape over the idea of women winning. They are nauseated by the idea that women can date on easy mode, sex their way through their 20s, then marry some hapless simp and get the house and kids, divorce him and get his money and all of the sympathy, and so on. How can anybody date these hedonistic sluts? They demand to know, with an exclamation point. If only men would stop doing that. They fantasize about revenge, these women getting what's coming to them, comeuppance. These women losing instead of winning. That fixation on what the women ought to get and what the women deserve isn't healthy. Being an overcorrected reaction to simps is just as bad as being a simp, except the overcorrectors don't even get the dates. Vetting doesn't work. And on top of this, vetting doesn't work, at least not without dating, because you can't vet a woman you don't understand. You can't vet a woman when you don't understand women. You also can't select an option when you don't have multiple options to select from in the first fucking place. Okay. The way to get better at dating and relationships is by dating and having relationships. Like any other skill or muscle you build at the gym, you get better by doing. Nobody vets. You don't vet. You're not going to have some magical unicorn because you vetted for her. You're going to get her because you dated her. That's the operative here. I'll keep going. I won't read the whole damn thing because it's kind of long. Almost. You don't end up with better relationships by vetting and vetting and vetting some more and complaining. You don't grow. You don't learn. You just become a whining complainer who has no idea how to handle women. You end up with better relationships by dating all kinds of women, including the large majority who have some casual sex under their belt. You don't marry the first girl who says yes, of course, but you date her and the next one and the next one after that. You spend time with women. You have sex. You enjoy their company. You become the man who has opportunities to date half a dozen promiscuous girls at any given time and picks the best one or two. Not the guy who has no women interested in him, who declares that they're not good enough for him anyway because they're promiscuous. But one day, if he keeps working hard, he'll meet the good one. He won't. He won't. You learn how to handle women and relationships and relationship difficulties. The best solution to any relationship issue is, hands down, is having the opportunity to date someone else. When you have those opportunities, then having boundaries, being honest about what you want and what you like, and treating women like normal people comes naturally, because the woman you're staring at is just a woman, not your lifeline to an imagined idyllic future filled with love, sex, respect that no woman can actually give you. Remember when we talk about the red pill, people say, you guys are misogynists. No, we're not. The red pill is not about hating women. The red pill exists so you won't hate women for what they cannot ever be to you. That's the point. You want to know why Anthony Bourdain is dead in the ground right now? Because he still believed, even after all his success, he had everything, all this fucking success. And you know what? He still believed that women could be to him what he wanted them to be. The fact of the matter is they were never going to be that to him, because what he wanted did not exist. Kill the beta, kill the blue pill before it kills you. Okay? That's funny because Archwing is great, but a lot of this stuff is like, he says it in a much more interesting way, I think, anyways, because I'm very analytical about this stuff. But spin more plates. Plate theory. There's the non-exclusivity right there. We were talking about tattoos just a minute ago. This is what triggered this whole damn thing. It's like, and so? Red flags are green flags if you're not trying to marry her. Hell, man. Oh, didn't you know that if a woman has a tattoo sleeve or whatever, like, she's a promiscuous woman? Game on. Let's go, man. Do you know how many women I saw with fucking sleeves and tats at the fucking bikini contest, the 2 bikini contests I've been to in the last couple of weeks? God, dude, we were at, where was it at? Oh, it was at Sahara, at the pool at Sahara. And they were we did the preliminaries first. And I had a couple of my guys from Reignite were there. And it was so fucking hot, dude. It was like 100 and some odd degrees out there. And so everybody's huddled underneath the cabanas, because we had the whole back cabana part reserved. And all the girls are underneath the cabanas because it's in the shade. And then the misters are in the cabanas, right? So that's the only place where you can even get any kind of relief, because there's no air conditioning out there, right? So at one point I'm sitting there, we're trying to watch the girls walk, and all the other girls who haven't walked yet, they're still huddled under the gazebo or the cabanas, right? At one point I'm sitting there, and there have to be a dozen chicks in front of me. They're all in thongs. It's nothing but ass, and then boobs. And then I'm like, okay, when you first get there, you go, all right, that chick's hot. That's you're hit by the novelty of it. But when you have like a dozen of them and they're right there, and it's I'm like, I kind of feel like a physician, like, I got another ass. And I just want to like park the butt seat so that I can get out and like watch the walk, right? And you almost get claustrophobic with all that shit and everything. And I've thought about that, and I go, man, there was a time when I was in my 20s, I would have been like happy as a pig and shit if I was right there. I'm in my 50s right now. And I'm like, can you kind of move out of the way? I kind of have to judge this thing. It's funny when you get, it's just like it becomes business at that point. But then I think about this later. That's the abundance mentality. That's the options mentality, right? You get kind of used to it, and you're like, then at that point, when you have a dozen asses in front of you and some tits here, there, whatever, when you have then you can go, that one stands out amongst the crowd, right? But if you don't have that experience, if that's not something you have on a regular basis, it's like, and then you see this one good looking girl who might be in Vegas, she might be a 6 or a 7, but in Butte, Montana, in Paducah, Kentucky, that chick's a fucking 10. And then, but that's where because you don't have a frame of reference, you don't have the options, you don't have the
localized game.
It's a it's what Tom Likas used to say this. He would say a woman he would rate women on a 1 to 10 scale, but then he would have to like adjust for region.
Exactly.
Like so a chick who's a 10 in Butte, Montana turns into like a 7 in Miami, right? Because the competition is stiffer there. And if you're a 10 in Butte, Montana, you don't stay in Butte, Montana. You go where you fish where the fish are, right? So if you're a hot, like that's a funny thing about Fresh and Fit is everybody thinks that they're all just these random club whores that they scoop up off the street in Brickell or something like. No, they come from like every state in the union because the hottest chicks still go. They flock to Miami because it's like a magnet, right? So no, they're not all from Miami. Actually, if anything, they're from somewhere else, right? Let me finish up here. Let's see. And most importantly, you learn that all women are women, even the most promiscuous ones. They are even the rare good girls. They are all mostly just normal people looking for love, looking for fun, enjoying life in their own way. Those promiscuous women aren't some kind of weird, degenerate, soul-stealing, hedonistic aliens. They're just regular girls who've had sex before. Those rare good girls aren't June Cleaver from a TV show parody, but what the 1950s weren't actually like. They're just regular girls who've had sex, but usually more than you think. Date the sluts, gentlemen. They don't bite. Well, sometimes. Anyways, I thought that was a really good write-up, and people are going to just run me up the flag. So go ahead, run me up the flagpole right now. The fact of the matter is I'm going to tell you guys what I think that you guys need to hear this because I needed to tell this to my guys in Reignite. I was kind of noticing a pattern here, and I'll talk to if you want to join Reignite, by the way, if you join Reignite, my group, we have a school group. I'm been getting more active in it, but we have a pretty active school group, SKOOL. And then we do once every Thursday at 4:00. I do a Zoom call, and it's only supposed to be for an hour, but you know me, so I talk. So it's usually about 90 minutes, maybe a little more, depending. And that's, I think, is probably one of the more popular aspects of it. And then we have a lot of other things that go on too, but you can get the details from reignitealpha.com. But I noticed this. One of the most consistent messages I have to tell my guys is go out and date. And it becomes more sort of in my face after we have an event. So if we go to Miami, the Miami White Party, for Babes in Toyland in Miami. Mm-hmm. We have events and we do stuff, and we get together, we have mock conversations with girls and stuff like that. We do all kinds of stuff. I'll sit and talk with you for hours and whatever. Then we do fun shit. We do style counseling. We go see Christian at Jackson Maximus. We have I do my fishing trip, right? So I try to make it as fun. It's an event, but it's also fun. We do other activities, right? But the featured event, of course, is the White Party. And when I get there and I look around, and this was impressed upon me just last Thursday because we were here in Vegas doing it. What was impressed upon me is that the concentration of hot chicks at Babes in Toyland is like nothing else in the world. At least nothing else in the United States, right? I mean, in Vegas, it's the Olympics. I mean, there's a lot of hot women here. You go to a club, you go to Hakkasan, you go to Omnia, you go to Tao, you go wherever. Zook. You go to any of these clubs and you're going to find hot women are going to be there. You go to any of the pools, they might be paid to be there, but you're still going to see hot chicks. That's one of the reasons they do that, right? Because they want you to keep coming back. Hey, the hot chicks are at Cirque, right? But that's the thing is I don't want guys to go, well, I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to bother going out to my local club in Seattle because there's no the chicks don't even compare to the girls that I saw in Vegas or in Miami or wherever you are, or LA.
Can't fish while doing mental reps.
And even if they do, and even if you do manage to find a few like decent looking chicks there, it's regional. Remember regional scores?
Yeah.
So, and they're much less, like the concentration of them is much less than what you're spoiled because of. So my idea is that, okay, I'm just not going to go out until the next event. and then I'll go there and then I'll see if I can make it work this time, right? I don't want you to do that. You have to go out and do things. That's why I read the whole thing, right? It's doing. I'm going to vet. No, vetting is sitting on your fucking hands going, I'm going to wait until I see. Where's the girl? There's got to be a girl somewhere. That girl looks like she's a good, go to church, right? She's got what you go become Amish if that's really the.
You know how you learn how to fish? By fishing.
By fishing, yes. Even the Amish girls probably have tats. Oh boy, man, people are still impressed with my head. Thank you. I've never seen Rollo's head in all caps. I've never seen Rollo's head. Isn't that what it is? Cap Lock Hustler. Yes. So my take home message to you is go out and do, and you have to keep doing it because you don't get better at playing guitar just by sitting around and thinking and talking and reading about guitar. You get good by going and playing guitar. Do you have to learn the rules? Yes. Do you have to learn scales and chords and everything and then get creative with it? Yes, you do. But you still have to woodshed. And that's what you have to do with anything, whether it's the gym, whether it's playing guitar, whether it's, or it's learning how to like converse and hook up with chicks. How important is it to you? Like the guy was talking about like New York City. I can't leave because I have these properties here. Okay, well, you can't leave. Great. How important is, I'm not even talking about girls. How important is change to you? Is it worth picking up and saying, you know what, this isn't working for me. I'm going to leave. I'm going to try something else in a different place. Right? Well, it'd be crazy. You've got properties here and making money. You got a great job. Yeah. But the thing is there's no chicks here. There's nothing I want, but besides the job, which is fantastic. If you were a digital nomad, which I've known several in my lifetime, they don't even stay in the United States. They go to like Bali or they go to Southeast Asia or something like that. Maybe they become passport bros, but a lot of the guys who are expats aren't passport bros. They just like, Costa Rica better than the United States, right? It's cheaper. Look, you can move to Puerto Rico and live way cheaper there, and you're still a U.S. citizen. But how much is it worth? How much is change worth it to you? If it's about chicks, then how much is it worth you to move to a place where the chicks are? How much is it worth to you to, and you don't, like people go, oh, the chicks here in the United States suck, Rollo. Okay, move. Move to Mykonos. Move to where do you think they are? Where do you think that Poland might be? There's a lot of very good looking blondes in Poland. I can attest to Maya is Polish. Yeah, Polish descent. She's American, but yeah, I need a hot blonde. Poland, my friend. Where are you going to go? Tell me what you want. What's your plan? Nothing. I'm going to wait here and vet girl. Like that's the thing that kills me, man, is like, especially tradcons love that term. Especially if shit goes sideways for you. If you're like in a relationship, if you're in a marriage or something like that, and she's just like, well, you didn't do what the Lord said, and so therefore she's not fucking you. Oh, she doesn't fuck you long enough. Divorce time. You know what? You just picked the wrong one. You didn't vet my son. No, I dated. I fucked a lot. I have more real world sexual experience than any fucking pastor I have ever met. And I still listen to them on Valentine's Day or Mother's Day or whatever. And they're going to convince me about how much they know about like women's nature and men's nature. Fuck you. I hate to be that way too, because I really probably shouldn't be that way. But bro, it's like you don't own a Camaro and you're going to tell me how to put a supercharger on my fucking Camaro. No, you don't. You don't know what you're talking about because you don't have the experience. Hell, I don't have the experience of putting it on. Maybe my brother does. Anyways, what do we got here? We got one last one. I just got to you. Okay, good enough. There you go. So get out and go do. There's a school of thought, and I 100% agree with this, is all of your mental issues, all of your, what is it, your inner game? My inner game. I got to get my inner game perfect, Rollo, before I go out and do anything. No, you don't, because you know how you solve your inner game? You use your outer game and go out and fuck chicks, man. That's what Mike Sartain says is, this is not my line. This is Mike's. Is like outer game will solve 90% of your inner game problems. Go out and do it. There's nothing like being successful in the clubs and coming back and going, I wasn't thinking about my childhood trauma at all.
There's a show called Tires, right?
Uh-huh.
It's Shane Gillis. Do you know him, the comedian?
Yes. 3 chords.
So
I know way more than 3 chords.
So season 3 just came out, and there's a scene where he has a traumatic experience where he sees somebody die in front of him, and he kind of sees himself in that. So every time he hears a loud bang or anything, he gets flashbacks to seeing the guy drop. And he's fucking this chick. Chick's like fucking banging him, and all of a sudden she keeps fucking him harder. All of a sudden she's like, wait, you fucked it out of me. What the fuck? And that's the whole thing.
Oh,
And
no,
he
he's
just used her.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Just
that's all
fuck
it
her
was.
out of her.
All
It's
it
like,
was
that's all it was.
yeah, the sex is all. Well, I mean, I'm going to quote Ryan Stone. I always attribute quotes. Okay, was it black pill doomers are one blowjob away from being red pill?
There's hope in it.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm also of the opinion, like, we guys need to stop fucking being so goddamn emotional all the time. That vetting stuff, that you got to find the right girl. That's all coming from like your emotional anxieties and shit like that. So really, you could theoretically make a link to approach anxiety in that sense. Oh, she's good. If she's perfect, she'll love me for me and find me no matter what.
Mental boundaries.
Like, what fucking romance novels are you listening or reading, dude? For Christ's sake, man. And I can't even believe I'm still having these kinds of conversations or like having to deal with like these problems today, because this shit was going on in 2006. Same stuff. Archer Winger is a fantastic writer, by the way. He's very entertaining, very funny in his delivery. I think he's great at that, But the concepts are stuff I talked about in The Rational. Spin more plates. Date non-exclusively. Get out there and fucking do it. Was it Something in Intent? I can't remember the name of the title of this post. But it's the concepts don't change. The delivery might. The context might, but the symptoms and the whole diagnosis doesn't change. Get out and go do. Well, we talk about like being happy, right? Now, I usually give you the happiness speech when I hear somebody go, "Oh man, married men are more happy than 65% of the." Get the fuck out of here with the happiness stats. Anybody telling you? They're trying to have proof of concept with like telling you like, oh, these people are more happy if they do. They don't know what happiness is, because human condition is based on discontent. God forbid I'm fucking happy. I'm happy all the time. If I look like I'm happy all the time, I'm probably on drugs. Right? I'm probably on fucking heroin. Right? And I understand why drugs are popular, because they are an artificial form of happiness that give you that the same dopamine rush and the same chemical cocktail that you would feel if you actually went out and did something. Fucking got under a hot piece of ass, man. That's why they chase the dragon, man.
I don't know, Rolo.
Chasing the dragon, man. That's like Rolo chases pussy all the time. I'd rather chase pussy than heroin. Yeah. But anyways. But the happiness thing is like, whenever I hear if you want to be happy, you don't be happy. You do the things that make you feel the emotion of happiness. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's bad. So it could be something that's bad, right? I remember this one. This just jumped in my brain. I used to play in this band back in 1990. It was an alternative band. We were definitely a metal band, but it was almost like a goth band at that time. And the first time I ever met a real live heroin addict, the guy who was the drummer, Maury, God, I hope he's still alive. He was a great dude.
Yeah.
One time, because he would shoot the line, man. And I can remember one time, and we were having this conversation. And we was talking about like sin. He goes, "Sin makes me happy." I'm like, fuck, that's kind of profound. You think about that, right? Yeah, I'm sure it's still bad. It's still like, it's a destructive way of experiencing happiness, but it still does make you happy. Like, it's certainly in the moment, it makes you happy, right? And I'm like, well, that's because you're doing it. It's the doing of what's going on right there. I mean, ultimately, you're going to die from the drugs, right? But I'm sure Lane Staley was happy right up until he OD'd, probably, and when he OD'd, right? But he's still dead. So there's destructive ways to deal with discontent, and there's creative ways to deal with discontent. But both of them are doing something. If you're fucking something up and destroying something, you're still doing it. If you're creating something, hopefully you're doing something constructive and creative and something you can profit by and it's good for you in the long term. That's great, but you're doing something to deal with that discontent, right? You will never be happy. You can do the things that will make you happy, because happiness is an emotion. It's a emotive state. And usually those things have to deal with two things: survival and fucking and reproducing, right? Those are the two things that will make you feel certain emotions, right? Or there's a purpose for them anyways, those emotions. So as far as like the happiness kind of thing is just like, I always couch it in terms of chicks, but it can be anything. It could be your hobbies. It could be doing this part. I enjoyed working with you and doing all this stuff right here. I wouldn't do it if I didn't. God knows it ain't the money. All right, let's get out of here. So let's see. Access Vegas is going to be on Wednesday. Do we have supers? We got 3 supers. Jeez, in that time. All right, here we go. Hey Rollo, I'm considered generally unattractive by women. Okay. Is it okay for me to be apathetic towards women and or their problems? No. Why would you consider their problems at all? Especially if you're I'm unattractive. Okay. So first of all, like, why would that even be a thought in your head? And then second of all, why are you not trying to make yourself attractive? Go do. Would you like me to would you like advice on how to change your state? Go to the fucking gym. I don't know. Maybe you're super fat. I don't know. I'm generally unattractive. Well, how so? I'm only 5'9".
He actually said that a little bit earlier. He said he committed the mortal sin of being 5'6".
5'6". Okay, there it is. Well, you know how tall Jake Cope is?
Yeah.
Jake Cope fucks. Jake, this is for you. Jake Cope fucks. Okay, that's the clip. Jake Cope fucks. Okay, and Jake Cope is like 5'7", I think.
Yeah, he's like 5'7".
5'7", man. I have never seen it. And let me tell you something. When I first, I could not explain it. I can now, kind of. But that dude poached chicks off of fucking Access. He was like, I'll Access Vegas. I'll be there. No, what do you need me to do? Do you want me to pay you? No, I'll be here. Jake Cope fucks, and he's 5'7". So what's your problem? Right. Well, Jake Cope is also a rock band drummer too, so that might have something to do with it. But it's that, dude. I know guys who are 5'4" that fuck, man. It's not insurmountable. I mean, unless you're like, this tall. Are you a halfling? Are you a gnome?
It's a hobbit.
I'm a hobbit. How hairy are your feet? Yeah, God. You know, it's funny. I was talking to Monica Almager, and she was talking about like personal hygiene, and I'm so sick of listening to that as a cope for stuff like if your wife's not fucking you, it's probably because you stink.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, have you taken a shower lately? That is such a dodge, man. That is such a fucking dodge. Like, Monica, my wife and I'm in a sexless marriage. What do I do? Well, do you stink? I've been in a sexless marriage for 25 years. Have you stunk for 25 years?
Yeah.
What? Stop it with the hygiene shit. Can you be apathetic towards? Why would you I'm apathetic towards everybody's problems until they make it real for me, right? Until I can only care so much, right? Oh, I'll be apathetic. Like what? Like you don't care? Why are you even telling me this, right? See here. Okay, actually, stop. Full stop. Did he? So he put that one prior to that.
Yeah.
I got a better idea. Go read The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And in particular, pay attention to, I think it's Law 10, which is that one? Do not help the drowning man. Is that the one I avoid the unhappy and the unlucky? See, I was right. Fuck, I know those so well. Yes. Okay. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. Okay. People who have misfortune often draw upon themselves, and they will draw it upon you too. Beware of trying to save the drowning man, because he will pull you down with him. Okay. So if you're going to be apathetic about anything, then fucking stop being apathetic. Start doing. Stop being a loser and start being awesome. That's my advice to you, right? Stop being a loser and start being awesome. Read the 48 Laws of Power. Okay. Start figuring things start thinking about things in a different way. Break out of your fucking habits. Break out. If you have sedations, then it's time to dump those sedations. First of all, I can't even help you until
it's
you
like
do
so
that.
cheesy to say, but it's like be who you want to be. It's like you got to do something.
Go do some shit, man. Change. Like that's the thing. Is like, how bad do you want to change? Do you want it bad enough that you will leave the job you're in and move to a different city to do so on your own volition, not because you're forced to? Will you just do it on your own choice? No, I got a really good job here, Rollo. Then fuck, you don't want to change. My family's here. You don't want to change. Yeah. Rollo, being happy is like Rhinestone being nice. You don't think Rhinestone's nice? I think he's nice. I'm the biggest asshole on the fucking on Twitter. So, how can a man express his emotions without sounding like a pussy, a simp? Some of us compartmentalize too often. I'm going to show you something here. Glad you brought that up. I got to here at the end. I'm going to. I had to see this. Now you do too. Is this it?
Adult man who's not in the date.
Don't do this. Don't do scent of a woman when you don't need to. Let's see. On the desktop. Oh, here it is. Don't be one of these guys. Okay, I'm going to get a copyright strike, but that's at the end, so that's okay. Don't be one of those guys. That's not my men's group. That's healthy masculinity. They're expressing their emotions, Rollo.
What the fuck is this? Yeah, I'll pull it back up.
Oh my God. All right, there you go. There you go. They're expressing themselves. They're being vulnerable. Guys, come on. Let's all get fucking chai lattes after this. Boba. What the fuck is boba? What is this fucking, what is the bubbles of the fucking pods? And
It's like tapioca pearls.
What the fuck is that? Who the fuck invented that? I think it's the Chinese Communist Party came up with boba. I'm fairly certain. Okay. And then last but not least, I told Coral I was going to do this. I'm glad I'm doing this at the end here. Okay. I got this off her fucking website. Okay. I don't know who Dr. Mark Groves is. I don't know who this guy is. Okay. You cannot think your way out of a feeling. Oh, yes. Yes, you fucking can, actually. You cannot resolve matters of the heart with the mind. Actually, yes. Yes, you fucking can. Okay. You do not, because I'm not a slave to my fucking emotions. You don't need to understand more. You need to feel more. Oh, come on, let's get in the trust. We're in the trust nest, right?
We're in the trust nest right now. You're safe. This is a safe space.
I thought we were in the trust nest. It's not something you learn. It's something you do. Go sit in nature. I do agree with that. You do. Guys need to go out and fucking fish. Do something, right? And your feelings will come. See, this is... Oh, end the show now. Oh, my God. Stop it. Stop it. Stop with the fucking emotions and stuff like that. We have had since 65, since the sexual revolution for sure, since the boomers. You guys hate the boomers so much? Good. I'm going to hate on the boomers for a minute. Since Woodstock. I'm going to be channel my inner Aaron Clary right now. All right. We have prioritized emotions to this godlike status. Okay. Emotions are never wrong. Get the fuck out of here. The reason where we're at right now is because all we do is prioritize emotions. You can't think your way out of emotion. Yes, actually, you fucking can. You can do so. I'm going to tell you this. I can change your emotive state with Tren.
Yeah.
I can change your emotive state with tequila. I can change your emotive state by cutting you off in fucking traffic. I can change your emotions are easy pickings for a guy who has the brain power to leverage your bullshit. You want to know why you buy a used car or you believe that Candace Owens is fucking right? Is it because it's emotions, you dumb fuck? That's why. Stop it.
You know how I do?
Stop it with the fucking emotions. Jesus.
You know how you deal with emotions? Cause and effect. Just think your way out of it.
Yes.
That's how it is.
You can. That's the beauty of having gray matter in your fucking head, man. That's the whole thing. You're not a slave to your fucking endorphins, man.
When in doubt, zoom out. You gotta pull out.
Jesus Christ. Like it kills me. Absolutely. Especially coming from a dude. Men and women do not process emotions the same way. Proven 100%. It's a mechanical fact. Especially, okay, let's even go with what you're saying here. Okay, embrace your emotions. That's funny because I tend to default to rage and fucking anger all the time. Well, not that emotion. What? Like the whole thing with Nicholas Cruz, when I told you about that, he was doing what he was always taught. Embrace my emotions. That's what he was doing. His emotion was rage, but he was embracing his emotions. He did exactly what his female teachers taught him to do so the village could be whole and we can all be in the trust fucking nest. Stop it. Please. It's not fucking, emotions are not magic. They're not fucking cosmic juju from outer space, man. It's not the fucking law of attraction, or it's not astrology or that other shit, man. Emotions are real, yes, but they are also physical. Fight or flight. If I shoot you with a shit ton of adrenaline, you're going to feel something. Trust me. It's going to be fear or let's fucking go, right? When Mike got into that fight, you get that. It's like whenever I see my dogs in the backyard and they hear something, or Ned gets like, because ever since Ned got like attacked by that Rottweiler, Ned turned into likes to fight dog. Like he'll post up on dogs just to start some shit right now. Like, now I can do it. Let's go. Right. But like, I'll be in the backyard and be watching my dogs and just hanging out, just peaceful, nice. And then another dog will bark somewhere or some sound will happen. Yeah. And then the ridges on the back, like their hackles, right? The hackles goes up along the back and stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about, right? It's something, it's cause and effect. It's a trigger. I heard something. Poof, that, guess what? You're human and you can think your way out of that. Ned can't, but I can. Ned, calm the fuck down. Okay. Yes, you don't have to be a slave to your goddamn emotions. So shut, like, God, I just want, you got the pieces just so, I'm going to embrace my emotions right now. I'm going to turn into Popeye, man. All right, last one. Got a book recommendation to read up on the different genres of rock and heavy metal. Book. Actually, I do. You have been in the business, you know the score and notes. Okay, here's what it is. I got one for you. It's just off the top of my head, okay? Old book. It's called Masters of Metal. Or it's the Masters of Heavy Metal. It might be that one too. It's Masters of Metal. Metal. It's a book. No, that's a video, I think. Okay, it might be Masters of Heavy Metal. I have the book, actually, still at home. I put book at the end of it. Yeah, there it is. It even finished it for you. 1984. Yes, Ulbrich. There it is. Okay. Masters of Heavy Metal is a classic 1984 nonfiction book edited by Jas Obrecht, compiled from Guitar Player magazine. And it basically outlines a lot of the styles, but also the guitarists that were influential in those styles. There it is, right there. The one with the Eddie on it. That one.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah, put that one up. Here's your book, dude. You ask and ye shall receive. There it is. The Masters, that one right there. Yeah, that one. Boom. That's it. That's your book right there. Look that up. You can probably find it on eBay. I don't think it's like super collectible or anything like that. That I still have that book. That's how important that book was to me from like 1984. I probably bought it new in 1984. There's your book right there, baby. Got it? Good, great. All right, let's get out of here. Wednesday, Access Vegas. We have a bikini contest coming up. I want to say it's on the 26th, I'm pretty sure. And the other big news, I already made the announcement. I'll make it once again. September 2nd for Access Vegas, we have Adam Sosnick coming on board. And if you saw Adam Sosnick, he's been on the show once before, but that was way back at Sticky Paws. Yeah. And man, that's the Adam I want to be. Okay, I have this fantasy in my head. Okay, I'm no homo. This is my man crush. I would very much love, and I think this would be a practical too. I think we could make a lot of money at this. I think this would be a really great venture. I would love to be able to do Access Vegas. Like if Mike couldn't do it on like we usually do Access Vegas every other Wednesday. If we had me and Adam on one Wednesday, and then the next following was me and Mike, and then like we just swapped or whatever. Mike couldn't do it, then we could still keep the show going. We could actually do it weekly if I had another co-host, right? If Adam was I can think of anybody who I would do it with. He's the only name that comes to my head. I don't think I could do it with anybody else. Maybe Fresh. Right. If Fresh ever decided to leave Miami, then he would be my next choice. But Adam would be my first choice. I think that would be a fucking hell of a show. But getting him to cut the apron strings with fucking PBD is impossible. But I would love to have him on. If you saw the last one, which is still a classic, by the way, the clips are still out. There was agitation, man. That's the Adam I want. And you got to remember, Adam's show, his the Saucecast, has been defunct for like almost 2 years now, I think. So I'm sure he's raring to go. That's going to be a fucking great show. So make sure you have your schedules cleared for September 2nd for Access Vegas, because that is going to be one great show. But anyways, that's it for me. We will be back Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern next time. If I can get to a midweek stream, I will. Again, if you're interested in Reignite, we do a call. You want to talk to me personally? We have a Zoom call that we do every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, which would be 7 Eastern. And if you want to be a part of that, it's fine. If you want to be part of you can actually get in on some of those calls. If you're a Patreon subscriber at the $200 level, that's available to you. Excuse me. All those links are down in the description below. I hope you guys liked the hair today. See, look here. It looks like I'm blonde.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. So my hair is actually like not that, because it's the light. It's that yellow. It's that yellow light that's like making me look like I look like I'm one of those South. There we go. Okay. So yeah, a little bit better. It is white, but it's not yellow. Is he blonde? Did he actually? Mac and Murphy has this video. I'm going to use it on Access Vegas. Do women have a bias against blonde dudes? Because he's a blonde dude.
Yeah.
Last call for super chat. There you go. You got it. Thank you for all your super chats and all of your jewels too. Thank you for giving me all of your jewels. I feel like we're playing a video game, man. And then I would encourage you to please give and support this channel, because I'm trying to pay Kyle now. And I need to make this show at least semi-profitable, because I need Kyle to stay on board, because I love Kyle. He's an integral part of this show. I'm going to have him be the producer on this upcoming Access Vegas on Wednesday. And then if that works out, then you'll be there for Sosnick on September 2nd. So I'm going to try to I'm going to try to up Kyle's position in as many ways as I possibly can. So if you guys want to support the show, you can always do it in multiple ways. Patreon's always there. Hell, if you want to give me a PayPal donation, that's fine too. But just to keep the show rolling, and I guess we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Hope this has been informational to you. I thought it was a pretty good show.
Hell yeah!
All right, brother. We'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Cast magic missile.
But I was just a kid when we met and went to bed. It was my first time. What do you expect from me? I'm breaking up the rules now in the game. I've got some new tools. Please do the same. Time came by when
Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
What are you gonna do about it? I'll suck his dick.
Now we're fucking in the bathroom, tearing up everywhere while I got your hair. Why you screaming my name?
That's nasty. It is nasty, right? Isn't it nasty? Ugh.
She was swinging in the bedroom, whole time stopping and stepping with her head like she's Claudia Kelly.
Well, I'm a whore.
Ride me up and down like a pony, turning up my song, getting nasty, working up and down on your body.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ride me up and down like a pony, turning up my song on your body. Baby, we get down to it all night, but maybe we can fuck again, and maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again, won't you put it on me one more again? I need to know if maybe we can fuck again, then maybe things be different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. She's not a Christian.
Clear City Podcast has been a production of the Rational Male. All rights reserved. Registered trademark 2026. And don't steal Ned stuff.
Tell these bitches to go to hell.
I want to cast magic missile.
We say to give a woman vote is like to let a monkey fly a plane. Very dangerous.